This is the Renaissance Men podcast, broadcasting live on YouTube and Twitch. Now please welcome your host, Stuart Garrard.
Good evening and welcome to the Renaissance Men podcast for April 29th, 2022. I am your host, Stuart Garrard, and joining me as always is Jimmy T. Saint. Jimmy, how are you?
Reaction ready. There's my cheering. Is it the kids again?
Yeah.
Bloody kids follow me everywhere I go.
I just default to the kids for you, Jimmy. It just seems more appropriate that way.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm bloody good, Stu. I've had a lovely week. Had a good day at work today. I managed to squeeze in a bit of an unboxing video, which I recorded with scale modeler John Simmons. So we'll get that out next week. And one thing I did today, which I haven't done for a long time, is I had to go to Basildon.
Okay. How unfortunate for you.
Well,
Bas Vegas.
How does everyone know the name Bas Vegas? Anyone I say Basildon to says to me Bas Vegas. So I'd never heard it before until the other day when our friend Becky Maguire said Bas Vegas to me. Yes, my sister needed a lift for a meeting she had for a job to Basildon. So I said I'll give her a lift, and she said she'll be about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that's fine. I'll go out in Basildon for a couple. And everyone I spoke to said, "Don't, please don't."
What the hell are you doing?
Please don't. It's horrible. And I was like, it can't be that bad. You know, I lived in Wakefield for 2 years when I went to drama school. You know, I went to drama school.
Good God, Jimmy.
So I decided to go to Basildon once I dropped my sister off. And my God, they weren't kidding. It was very sad. It's I've never seen anything like it before, to be honest. It was like a rundown town where clearly no money or anything has gone into it. But in the midst of all this horror and bargain basement shops, I found a Turkish restaurant, and I sat in there for an hour and a half watching Peacemaker on my phone. And I ordered myself a mixed grill of shish and kofti and a glass of wine and rice and couscous and dips. And I had a lovely time for an hour and a half in Basildon. So if you do live in Basildon, do not give up hope. There is a restaurant called the Denny's Turkish restaurant. And it's the best thing you've got going for you guys. So and we put the link in the comments below for Denny's Turkish restaurant. Enjoy yourselves. But yeah, that's been my week, man. How about you?
Fantastic. Pretty standard, Jimmy, to be honest. Not a great deal's happened in my world. Working. Benji's back at school now. Obviously, the Suffolk kids are now back doing their thing. Thank Christ for that is all I can say, because he was getting a bit... You know, I don't know if your kids are like this, but they get to a point where I will desperately want him to be back at school, but you think, he could really do with going back to school, that lad. You know, it's getting a bit... They go a bit feral, don't they? They're at school more than a week.
Yeah, they've just had enough. They haven't got enough stuff wearing them out because we've given up on them.
Yeah.
So
you can only come up with a week's
school.
worth of stuff for them to be entertained with. So past that week point, then it gets a bit spicy in the house. But other than that, no, fairly standard stuff, mate. To be honest, been a bit busy on YouTube, which we'll cover shortly. But did your story of Bas Vegas, and your collection of grilled meats? I always remember in the video shop we both used to frequent on some holidays, magical time. The kebab shop across the way, the guy who always used to come over and kind of ply me with kebab meat. I don't know if he did this to you, or whether he's like buttering me up. Yeah. This is some special relationship I had with him. I was a bit portly back then, but perhaps he wanted to get me on his spit. I don't know.
Yeah, did you not have to You didn't have to get that turning. You didn't have to. Oh well, you were lucky. Clearly,
imagine the humiliation of wanking off an old Turkish man for kebab meat.
Clearly, you were a favourite if you didn't have to do that for your meats. He was obviously buttering you up for something special.
Yep. But no, just kind of, it's funny how you mentioned something, it kind of just ignites a little spark of a memory in my brain. But no, I'm all good, brother.
A meaty memory.
Indeed. Good to have you on the show as always, and we've got a cracking show lined up, I think. If this is your first time here, please do give us a like and subscribe. Be greatly appreciated. We are the Renaissance Men. This is a weekly show, live show that talks about geek culture and geek discussion. So hopefully, if you're here for the first time, enjoy. But up first, as always, we have some questions from our lovely audience. Some a bit close to home for me, to be honest. But in proper fashion, let's take a look in our Ask Us Anything segment.
Ask us anything.
Were we okay, audio-wise?
I mean, I heard it. It scared me. This is these are one of a few new stings we have, haven't we? And
we do.
I mean, it sounds pro, but it scares. It's going to haunt me tonight. If I try and listen to us as we go to sleep tonight, poor Holly as she lays down in bed and hears DRB's ghostly voice there.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, that is DRB. That's some DRB magic back in the show for you. Gone momentarily, but never forgotten. He's not. I'm speaking as if he's dead. He's not dead.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been on the show for a while. But he's given us some new audio stings. And there we go.
Gone, but never forgotten.
Exactly. Always in the heart is our DRB. But yes, let's crack into some questions. First up, we have one from my dad, strangely enough, and he's asked, my question is, when are you going to bring back my dust sheets? Now, this is an interesting one because I did some decorating about a year ago. I borrowed his dust sheets. So, first point that you should take from this conversation is, yes, I've had those dust sheets for over a year. I do have a funny story about those dust sheets. Dad, he's not watching, so he's not that supportive. But if
he might be. He's asked a question. He wants the answer.
He has. It's a very good point. But when I was talking to him about the podcast the other week when I went down to Mersey to see him, he said, "Oh, Dad, why don't you get involved in the chat and stuff?" Said, I don't understand. I don't understand it. So bless him. He doesn't understand. I just don't think he understands tech, to be honest, Jimmy, or culture.
Yeah, really. Like me.
I love him. Yeah, should get him on the show. To be fair. But I know. Back to the dust sheets. He was a painter and decorator by trade, so an abundance of dust sheets, professional quality dust sheets. And we were doing the living room out last year, and bless her, Buttons, my old cat, bit old now, bit senile, and for some reason decided to take a piss on one of the dust sheets because she's got a bit of a slack bladder, God bless her. And so what my dad doesn't know is that Buttons has taken a whiz on those dust sheets. So I'll gladly send them back. Smell of ammonia will just waft through the house.
Did you wash the dust sheets or just bag them up and stick them in the loft or something?
I didn't. I don't know. Can you wash dust sheets? Is that
I wouldn't.
It's common process. I don't know. I guess you probably should if there's cat piss on them.
I borrowed dust sheets off of John Simmons' Scowl Model Maker a long time ago, and I've never returned them. But they were just like a load of old curtains and stuff. So I thought,
I don't know why he's that bothered. He's never going to decorate it again, to be honest.
If you borrow stuff off parents, they always want it back.
They always remember, Jimmy.
Yeah, dust sheets, some butter, 25 grand. They always want it back, the selfish bastards.
They are, aren't they? Quite. So, Dad, if you are listening, I'll bring them back at some point. But we do need to do our stairs now. So I might just keep them, eh? There's that question answered. Next up, Christ, it's my wife. My dad and my wife Amanda asks, and this is via Facebook. If you do want to get involved,
you
really
went far afield to get these questions this week, didn't you?
Well,
is this nepotism or is it laziness?
Well, no, I just didn't want Holly to get all the glory. I know Holly's probably watching. If not, she will be on the catch up. Holly, we're just taking a break from you. Nothing is meant by it. We just we'll freshen things up a bit, you know?
Do not tell Holly we're on a break. She's the best. She's the best viewer ever.
We will return to Holly's questions next week, and we do have a nice little collection building up again. So that's nice. And if you do, like I say, if you do want to get involved, head over to the Facebook page, as you can see below, or the Twitter page, and I put a post up every Wednesday to Thursday, and you can submit your questions, and we will answer them in our usual style. Amanda, my wife, has done such a thing, and she asks, "What is our favourite smell?" So we had, what did we have last week?
Sound. Satisfying sound.
So we're going through the senses.
Yeah.
Favorite smell. I do have one. Should I kick things off?
Yeah, go.
A freshly cut lawn. I do like the smell of a freshly cut lawn.
Yeah, there's a lot, isn't there? It's hard to pick a favorite because a freshly cut lawn is amazing. I guess they say smell is the biggest one for bringing back memories, don't they? For evoking memories.
I can see that. Yeah.
Alexandra Turner in the group has put, "I love Bas Vegas."
There we go.
So that's nice. Good for Alex. Favorite smell, but freshly cut lawn.
Yeah.
I love the smell of a barbecue.
It's evocative of like good times, you know.
Yeah, outside food. My favorite smell is probably, though, a candle after it's been blown out.
Okay. Like the burning wick, like the smoky wick.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of Christmas. I think it's that Christmas smell. A candle being blown out, or a pub toilet. I love the smell. I love the smell of a pub toilet. And it may sound like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not. When you go into a toilet, the smell of the urinal cakes or urinal cakes.
Yeah, it does have a distinct smell.
Yeah.
Evokes nights out and good times again.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're doing. We're linking it to times or moments that we enjoy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And I'll go into a toilet, and it's, you go, "Oh, I've had so many fun times in these toilets." But the toilet's the time you get to just sort of stop for a second, because when you're out, you're dancing, you're chirping, you're doing your bit. When you go to the toilet, I go, "I'll just go and stop for a minute and take this all in, and just breathe in that piss and urinal cake." And I really do. I honestly do like the smell of a men's toilet.
Question I've always wanted to ask you is, why, when we were at school, did we go and have eat food in a toilet?
We just took over that toilet, didn't we? Like it was our sort of office. Stu, may I remind you, one of the coolest men on earth had their office in a toilet, and I'll give you a clue to who that is.
Oh, right, yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, Elvis.
The Fonz, Stu, the bloody Fonz.
I know.
So there's nothing wrong with hanging out in men's toilets.
Alex, again, he loves, he's continuing to ply us with, I shouldn't say he, could be she. They love Las Vegas. Alex, what do you like about Las Vegas? What is it about the town of, I don't know what you've got the name of the town. I just wanted to call it Las Vegas again, as if that's what it's known as.
We've also got Pete Turner in the group, related, I guess, to Alexandra Turner, saying that he likes the smell of goats. And he's I know Pete Turner, it's my brother-in-law, and he's a very sarcastic bastard. But I do like the smell of goats. Manure, I really like the smell of. Do you like the smell of manure?
No, because that's shit, do you mean?
Yeah.
And I also don't like the smell of goats. It's weird. Goats smell like goat's cheese, isn't it? I find that bizarre. People eat goat's cheese and it smells of goat.
Yeah.
Like aromatically very, very goat based. I don't know how we do it. Goat's milk, I imagine, is pretty much the same.
What about a chip shop? I love the smell of a chip shop.
I do. Yes. Yep. Chip shop's nice. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any. And of course, any kind of solvent as well.
Glue.
Yeah, glue, lighter fluids. It's a lovely smell.
Do you still hang out in pub car parks and sniff glue?
Of course, always.
Why not?
But no, in all seriousness, I love the smell of petrol. I probably shouldn't be sniffing it, but when you fill your car up, that is I know it stings a bit from in the wallet, but other than that, it's a glorious, lovely smell.
You should take up sniffing aerosols and fume-based liquids. Yeah, you'll enjoy that. You'll bloody enjoy it, Stu.
What are those? I forget the name of the name of the roll where they kind of
cocaine.
No, you go for a nice posh meal, and there's people that they're not professional sniffers. What are they called?
Oh, sommelier.
Sommelier.
Sommelier, yeah.
Yeah.
Sommelier is the Lord of the Rings book, isn't it? Yeah, sommelier. Yeah. People who sniff. Well, they sniff wine. They don't just sniff glue or petrol.
That's what they smelt stuff. That's a professional sniffer.
No, it's wine, you doink. What do you think they sniffing?
I don't know. I thought it was like cheeses and I don't know.
Why would they need to sniff a cheese? They don't need to sniff wine. They tell you that the wine's good, and then you're supposed to sniff the wine. Do you hold your wine up to them and go, sniff it?
Sniff it.
I'm not drinking it till you've sniffed it.
That's what my wife does with her trumps. Sniff it. She cups it and like kind of launches it to me and says, sniff it.
Now, this is, I get to meet your wife next weekend because we're having a Renaissance Men get-together, and I've never met your wife.
Two houses coming together. No.
Is she going to try and shove a fart in my face?
Quite possibly. Just be prepared, Jimmy.
Nose plugs.
Yeah, or some kind of mask. Got any masks lying around from COVID?
Imagine that if I open the door to you after not seeing you for probably about 6-7 years and never meeting your wife, your child, and then she just launches a palm of toxic gas in my nose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, you're acting like I should expect
That's a brilliant first impression, I think.
Go for it, Amanda.
Have we got any celebrity input on this, Jimmy?
Stu, we have. I reached out to my celebrity friends, as I do every week, and I couldn't reach out to them about the question about when is Stu going to return his father's dust sheets, because obviously no one would know. But I got a few replies today. Luckily enough, they were all at a good few of my celebrity friends were at a gala. So you can hear, I think it was a charity for like deaf donkeys or something. So you can hear in the background the gala going on, and they were all kind enough to send their answer to their favorite smell.
Interesting.
Yeah. So first up, we do have Brian Blessed.
Oh, good.
Let me know if you hear this. I want to make sure it gets heard. So favorite smell from Brian Blessed.
Okay.
Hello, nerds. Yes, that's right. It's me, Brian Blessed again. I'm going to have to start charging you for these fucking voice notes. My favourite smell, my grandfather's ball sack.
Did you hear that?
What? Your grandfather's ball sack?
Yeah. That was horrendous, wasn't it?
It was Blessed. Scary.
But luckily, at the same event was Sir Ian McKellen. We got this week as well. Another celebrity friend of mine. Yeah, I've met him, a good few times. Here we go.
Hello, lovies. It's Sir Ian McKellen here. My favourite smell ever, funnily enough, happened last night. This young lad had pulled, in a hotel bar, his middle finger this morning. Absolutely lush. It was of me.
Did you hear that?
A middle finger?
Yeah, it was the smell of his own middle finger.
Okay.
No, smell of the young lad's middle finger who he had been with the night before. And then, I know there's a theme. And then finally, Ross Kemp as well.
Interesting. Yep.
Yeah.
Hello, Baldy.
He replied as well.
Hello, gang. It's Ross Kemp here. Apparently, someone wants to know my favourite smell. Funny enough, this might sound a bit weird, but it's Ian McKellen's middle finger.
So there we go. They were the results we got from favourite smell from various celebrities. Maybe one week we'll get a sane celebrity rather than the lunacy that we get each week.
Indeed. Well, your connections are, they're coming to fruition, aren't they? They're really paying off for us, Jimmy.
Big time.
I don't know if the viewers knew, but you went to drama school. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. In Basildon.
The Bas Vegas School of Fine Arts.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That was Ask Us Anything. If you have any questions you want to submit, then please, like I say, head over to Facebook and Twitter and get them off to us, and we'll see what we can do. If you want to directly ask the likes of Sir Ian McKellen and Brian Blessed or
Ross Kemp. Yeah.
Ross Kemp.
If you've got a question for them.
Exactly. Let us know. We'll see what we can do for you. Right. With that being said, I just want to take a moment to take a look around the Facebook channel, the YouTube channel from the past week, because we've had a fair few bits of content go up. I just wanted to highlight, Jimmy, if you don't mind, indulge me.
No, indulge yourself, Stuart. As I say, I did a Rentrack video today because my Rentrack videos have slowed down because of how much Picard has hurt me, and
you did. I feel your pain. We got to this point when we were doing the Botchcast many years ago when we were having to watch Raw and write notes on Raw and then produce a show purely based on Raw because SmackDown wasn't really a thing at that time. It kills you. It really does. When you're having to do it on a product that you're not particularly enjoying, it's even more soul destroying, Jimmy. So, cheers to you for doing what you did.
That. I mean, I think I managed 5. Did I do 4 or 5 episodes? It was just getting to the point where there we go. I managed 5, and now there's been episodes 6, 7, and 8, and I'm like, I'll do it after the next one, and I'll watch it and go, I'll do it after the next one.
Yeah,
but there's so many complaints. Like when I put one of them on the Star Trek channels on Facebook, I got a lot of shit for being another beardy YouTuber slagging off new Trek.
Yeah, quite right. I say.
Yeah, which is true. Exactly what I am. So I thought, okay, well, let's hope there'll be a good one, and I can do an overall of the episodes. But there hasn't been yet. So yeah, I had to do another video today, which will be out this week, and it was just going back to original Star Trek. I couldn't.
Yeah. Interesting, and we're not covering this in the news or anything. I bet you. Oh, I know, but I was in the midst of recording, sweet pea. Yes. Give me a kiss.
Oh, Stewie looks furious.
Give me a kiss. Thank you. Love you. Good night, Benj. Good night.
Stewie, are you sure that's a child and not like a short adult?
That's a short man.
Like the film Orphan. Sorry to ruin spoilers alert for the film Orphan, which I haven't seen.
It's a fully grown man doing that thing where he stands on his knees and puts shoes under his knees. Sorry about that. I did hear him knocking. I ignored him. I think I'm in the bad books. Never mind. He'll get over it. And another thing, right? He's getting his COVID jab tomorrow. So we're getting him COVID jabbed. And he's not looking forward to that. So that's another reason why I'm in the bad books. I don't know why I'm whispering. But we're going to take him to a toy shop as well. So
well,
swings and roundabouts, Jimmy.
You won't make it to the toy shop. You're going to wake up tonight with him standing above you with a needle. You like to give jabs?
In my eyes, yeah. What the hell were we talking about? I'm so sorry about that interruption.
Stuff on the show. I was doing a Rentrack and I managed to get a few out before I caved.
But go check what you've done out because I love them because you do such a great job of going through. You're always great at listing the plots, which will raise its head later in the show. And explaining what's going on in the show, and then just giving a really detailed kind of Star Trek fans' opinion of it all. And that's what I like about it, is you're very knowledgeable about your Star Trek. So I always found them an interesting watch, to be fair. So
yeah,
kudos to you, Jimbo.
I apologise to anyone who was watching who was going, "Where's episode 6 and 7?" But they were going to be. I mean, Stu, some of it was so dull, like it was so sad, so sad. But there you go. You've got an unboxing coming where I do reference Picard.
Fantastic. What I know what I was going to say now, what I was in the middle of saying before Benj came in, that was we're not covering it on the show per se. We can touch on it briefly here, and that was a trailer was released for Strange New Worlds. Did you know this?
Yeah. No.
Take
another
a look.
one.
Take a look. Well, this was this week, so I'm assuming had there been one before?
Yes, one with Captain Pike riding a horse.
Okay,
that was a good few weeks back, though. That was probably about a month ago.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at that in the news then. But yeah, that kind of might even get me into watching some Star Trek. It's based on, I guess, it's based on like the classic crew.
Yes,
obviously revisioned and whatever.
We should watch Strange New Worlds and do, as we said, Pleasure and Pain.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good. What I wanted to highlight really from this week is there's a couple of video game streams for you that I've been doing. They're kind of they are what they are. I wanted to highlight my Lego live build. I did this on Sunday morning. A new concept for me. I basically build a Lego set in real time. I bloody enjoy doing this. So if you are into Lego, I know we've got a few Lego fans who watch the streams, then go check this out. It's kind of really chilled out. I've got some chilled out music, and it's just me building my Lego Batman, which you probably can't see in the background, but it is on the shelf. And I'll probably do more of these going forward. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's quite a unique concept. Well, for us, anyway.
I watched it.
Did you?
Not all of it, obviously. No. I mean, it's an hour and 45 minutes or something.
2 hours, 45 minutes.
Or it's even longer.
Please.
But no, I did. I watched bits, and then I sort of skipped bits and wanted to see the sort of build going on. But no, it was relaxing, and I could see lots of people. I'm surprised it's not had more views, because people love Lego, and just watching Lego being built for a lot of people would be really enjoyable. Like an unboxing video, it is enjoyable to watch. So I'm surprised that's not picked out there more.
What I might do is recut a sped up version of it, so people can watch it in like a minute or two.
Yes,
that might be quite good as well. Just like a summary, an abridged version. So yeah, go check out. We're continuing to add more content. There's probably going to be another Botchcast at some point in the near future, because there's a WWE pay-per-view coming up shortly, so we'll probably pump that out. So yeah, kind of spreading our wings, as it were, aren't we, Jimbo?
Yes, man, absolutely.
Welcome, Holly, to the chat. You missed us mentioning you earlier. We've answered the questions already, so apologies. But you didn't have one in there, so we chose not to go with one of your questions. We hope you don't mind. You are our super fan, but yeah, hopefully you don't mind. Anyway, always a pleasure to have you around. Right, Jimbo, it's that time of the week where we take a look back at the week in geek.
The week in geek.
Absolutely ominous, isn't it?
Yes, it's all ominous. It's all really ominous. I like a lot of them, but we need your Dalek back. I miss your Dalek.
Yeah, well, we'll look into that. Right, so we'll kick off with the news. And my first bit of news, I've taken from aljazeera.com. Why not? Is the fact that Elon Musk has acquired Twitter for $44 billion. That is ridiculous. This was the big news of the week. Mr. Musk. I love that name, Elon Musk. What's the surname? Musk. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, he's bought Twitter for $44 billion. I don't know. Yeah, I know you're not a massive user of Twitter, but I think there are questions that need to be asked here and a discussion to be had around like freedom of speech and should super billionaires of Elon's wealth have control to these massive media conglomerates. And I know it's not unusual. You've got most newspapers are owned by Rupert Murdoch or whoever it may be, and there is a pattern of these very rich white men having these tremendous power over our media. But I don't know, it just continues to set a dangerous precedent for me, really.
Interesting, Stu. So what's your thoughts on why he bought Twitter?
I really don't know, to be honest. I know he's. Do you think it's? I don't know. Perhaps it's just a purely financial investment. I don't know. Perhaps he just sees it as an investment potential for him.
I don't know why you'd need to invest in something if you already had 44 billion. Like
you're not going to run out. You could want.
Yeah, you're not going to run out of cash. Yeah. From what I understand, why he bought it was to open it up to everyone's opinions. That's from what I heard. I don't know that for sure. So obviously people do get shut off of Twitter, like Trump and other people. And I think, from what I understand, his thoughts are everyone should have an opinion as long as it's not hate speech, and then who defines what hate speech is. But people should have an opinion rather than the agenda of the people who own Twitter. So my thought is he's going to open it up rather than close off people.
So you think it's like a battle against a lack of, or his perceived lack of freedom of speech or something? He's kind of trying to open it up and make it more accessible and less. What's the word I'm looking for? Fucking hell. Sorry.
Well, with less of an agenda behind it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it has, become a point where people do get shot down for asking questions, which is a controversial thing at the moment, to ask questions and not understand stuff. And many a time people, one person gets offended by something and then that's it. There is no other question to be asked. One person's offended. That's it. They're in the wrong. You get banned from Twitter, whatever. And I mean, who cares? Like, as you say, I'm not on Twitter. I'm not part of Twitter. So I think it is a pretty, can be a really dark place, but obviously it can be a place where people learn about news pretty quickly. So my thought and understanding was that he is trying to open it up to all people, and you don't get shot down because you have an opinion that the certain people don't agree with.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at what AlJazeera.com think about some of the changes that Elon Musk could potentially make to Twitter.
Going to change a bluebird to a red bird. Big
bad news. Bad news. This could be bad news as well. We do have more bad news. Don't we?
Yeah, we should have.
So Musk, a self-described free speech absolutist, has promised to develop new features, including authenticating all humans.
Because obviously,
am I human?
No, there's loads of bots, isn't there? That's the thing. Right. You look at a lot of film reviews, and it's all just AI generating positive comments about a film, and it's none of it's real. So.
So Musk has frequently expressed the opinion that Twitter's content moderators intervene too much on the platform. So this is going into what you were saying, Jimmy. Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated, he has previously tweeted. He's also called for relaxing Twitter's content restrictions and described a platform free from content moderation. I do think that's a bit dangerous. I do think that some moderation has to be in place. If you don't want just unadulterated filth just on social media at all times, I think there has to be some kind of censorship, some firewall down there. I don't know.
Yeah, but Stu, you either have it all or nothing, don't you? You know, I'm with you that anything that is like abuse or child abuse or pure hate speech or anything that's too violent, of course, get it off. But opinions, I don't know. How can you let one opinion? How can you be in charge of whose opinion is right? Obviously, it's quite easy to tell when people's opinions is wrong. But free speech, Stu, it's important.
That's fair. That is fair, and I guess who ends up making those decisions? I mean, ultimately, it's them having the free speech at that point, isn't it? It's not the user; it's whoever your moderators are at that point. So yeah, that is a difficult balance, and I'll be interested to see where he does go with that. Because I think this is the issue that I think will affect whether a lot of people will stay on the platform or not. If people feel that Twitter's being opened up to opinions that they don't particularly agree with, be it far right, far left, or whatever, then I think that's the most contentious issue for me. That could come from all of this.
Because it has gone very far left, hasn't it? I've always been a lefty. I've always been very liberal, but over the last few years, it's gone really far left, and anything sort of in the middle has been wrong. Anytime where you're trying to go, okay, well, let's go down the middle and see where this goes.
Yeah.
No, you're labeled,
yes.
A homophobe or a racist or whatever.
It's gone so
none
far
of those
left.
things. What the hell? Yeah,
it has left. In the middle, the middle is considered far right.
Yeah.
But what else we got suggested by Al Jazeera? The introduction of the edit button, a big issue. Get an edit button. I don't know how I feel about this, because I like the fact that if you've posted something and if it's something that you want to go back and edit, I think spelling mistakes is fair enough. There should be like an auto spell checker or something. But if you're posting something egregious and you just want to retract it, I'm not sure I like that. I think you should have to die by your sword.
Really? I thought you could take away tweets.
I think you can. Can you delete? I assume you can delete them.
Because didn't loads of comedians start going back on their tweets after?
Oh, you must be able
things
to.
that happened to James Gunn and everything like that. They started going back 10 years.
Stand
corrected. Delete tweets.
Yeah, perhaps an edit button is just something that is required. I don't know why they don't have it. To be fair, does it mention here briefly? No. But you can see Elon has previously tweeted about adding do people want an edit button? And it's unanimously yes, please, Elon.
Well, 26.4% Stu said on.
Right. Yeah, it's very witty.
What? Why
is a point there, is he? Because he spelt it wrong, so he would have liked to have edited it. Yeah.
Yes.
Very clever. Very clever.
He's a clever dude.
Yeah, well, he's got to be. He can send things to space.
Apart from dating Amber Heard, that was clearly a schoolboy error.
He also wants Twitter's algorithm to become open source. So the algorithm or piece of code that determines the priority in which tweets get served up to users will become open source or available for the public to view and improve upon. Musk says this will help prevent behind-the-scenes manipulation, such as fueling massive foreign propaganda, which I think would be a good thing. That would be an improvement of the service, not having less opportunity for foreign agencies to, manipulate and abuse that system and spread fake news.
So that is the thing, isn't it? Because all news channels have these agendas, don't they? All of them will only put out certain things. And you do hear about news stories on Twitter faster than you do on the mainstream media.
Yeah,
so
without a doubt, I think it's my main source for news now, to be fair.
So of course you want to shut down idiots saying stupid things. But that means you have to, as you say, who's policing that? Who's in charge of that?
Who's in charge of
And
idiots? Yeah.
exactly. And it is what, when the Flat Earth Society on Twitter is building a strong case and thousands of people are joining, that is sort of worrying. But ultimately, it's not, it's not a massive deal, is it? Like, but then you'll
No.
have people who are like supporting the KKK, so
Yeah.
you need to shoot that stuff down. It's a minefield. It is a minefield. Better to get rid. Better to get rid.
Just burn Twitter in its entirety. Just get rid of it.
Burn it to the ground.
Perhaps he's bought it to destroy it. I don't know.
I'd love that.
Just turn off the button. Yeah, fuck it.
Trump's return there. That was a point. Will he let Trump back on?
Tackling cryptocurrency scams. We'll gloss over that because I don't actually know what cryptocurrency really is, to be fair. And Trump's return. He was permanently suspended from Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat following the US Capitol riots in January 6, 2021. And chances are Musk will reinstate him. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Is he a conservative? I'm not sure. I don't know what his political leanings are.
Well,
Elon Musk, I mean.
He invented, not invented, but he pushes his electric cars, doesn't he? And he, that's quite a green thing to do, which is not usually in with conservative or Republican sort of views.
Yeah.
And he says he pays his taxes, and he said he was going to get rid of all his worldly goods. So quite liberal.
He's a communist. Brilliant.
No, yeah, I guess.
There we go. Huge story. Obviously, it has to be ratified by certain various bodies in the US. But one man controls Twitter.
Isn't it mad how just? I remember when Twitter was sort of coming out, because we're not, it hasn't been out that long. How old is Twitter? 20 years? 15 years?
God. No, I think 15 is probably a good guess, a good estimate. 2007-ish, 6, 7.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago, and it was all about can you write a funny thing in how many characters can you use?
140 odd.
Yeah, don't even know. But it was like, can you jot out a funny little thing in 140 characters, and people were doing it, and then they were following it, and then suddenly celebrities got on it, and then you were following celebrities, and then everyone got it, then politicians got on it, and blah blah blah, and it built out, and suddenly it was this where the world communicated from just a little tech thing.
Yeah,
quite incredible. Worth 44 billion now.
Crazy money. Speaking of things that cost crazy money, I've got some Lego set leaks for you, for the Lego fans in the house. Lego is obviously a product that costs quite a lot of money, and I love it, as we've mentioned earlier. But I thought I would just bring this up because there are some interesting sets coming out. Some might tickle your fancy, Jimmy. I don't know. Are you much of a Lego fan? I mean, I know your kids and wife are, but does it appeal to you? Even like the adult-based sets, like a Vader helmet.
I like the look of it. I think it looks really cool. I love all the pieces they do, and obviously, you can't deny how good Lego is. You can't look at a really intricate 5,000 piece Lego set and go, you just can't. But I have not got the patience.
Right.
To build.
It's the building of it that turns you off, is it?
Yes, massively.
That's fair. And I mean, that is a big part of it, isn't it? Let's be fair. That's a big part of the whole process. That's in many ways, I think that's what you're paying the money for. It's the time you can invest into enjoying the building process.
Yeah, I got this for my 40th birthday from my sister, which I absolutely love.
Lovely. They
are figures.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's cool.
And they are actual figures in there in a frame. And my sister also got my family in Lego in a frame. It says the Carr family of our names, and she picked out the creativity within Lego is undeniably wonderful. But yeah, as I say, it's just the build.
So this is from thebrickfan.com. and this is a leak via German retail. I think I want to call that Wagner's, not Wagoners, Wagner's. There's a variety of Lego product listings that have come up. We'll just go through some of these. So first up being an adult's Optimus Prime set. That would be interesting. I don't know what generation of Transformer that would be, whether that's like the 80s or like Gen 1 or whatever they call it. I don't know. I'm not a massive Transformers fan, but I'd be interested to see what design that is. 18 plus, I assume that doesn't mean it's going to be particularly erotic, more than it's for adults to
Optimus
build.
Prime with a massive Optimus Prime between his legs.
The architecture series is quite interesting because they do a lot of famous landmarks and wonders of the world. And next up, we're getting the Great Pyramid of Giza.
That would be interesting. That doesn't seem like enough pieces.
1,476. Yeah.
Is that a lot?
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's up there, but it's not. It's not a massive amount.
No, for a Great Pyramid, I suppose that's a boring Lego.
Yeah,
though,
it's not tickling my fancy, Jimmy.
No.
As neither is the Avatar sets. Obviously, we've got the second film coming out at the end of this year, which the title was announced this week as well, I believe. Something about water.
Avatar, Blue Men in Water.
It was something water, and I think it is predominantly filmed underwater. So I don't know. Avatar's a strange beast, isn't it? But
on IMDb, you've got Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, haven't you?
Yeah.
Which could Cameron even survive to make them? Because it's how long ago did Avatar come out? 8 years? 5 years?
It's got to be like more. It's got to be a decade, surely, at this point.
Do you reckon? Was good.
Oh no, not 2012. Yeah, that could be about right. I don't know. Yeah. Let's know in the chat.
Bloody good at the time when it came out.
Yeah, it was groundbreaking, and I did enjoy it. To be fair, I won't deny that it was a visual spectacle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got four sets coming out of various sizes. Unsure at this stage what these are. A lot of these we don't know what they're going to be. They're just, we know obviously the franchise that they're going to be around. Gaming, that could be honestly anything. But these are the Marvel and Star Wars ones, are the ones that I'm more interested in. So I've got an Iron Man Hall of Armor, a Baby Groot, which I'm assuming is going to be like similar to the Grogu set I've got, like a display piece. Doctor Strange Sanctum Sanctorum. That looks like it's going to be a large set. I think I've seen videos of people kind of speculating on what that could be. I think that's almost going to be like the huge Daily Bugle set that you can get. So that could be cool. And Advent Calendar, I really enjoyed last year's Advent Calendar. Go check out. We've got some little short videos on the channel if you want to see what last year's Advent Calendar was like, where Benj opened one each day, and we filmed it. Ninjago, I'm a massive fan, so I'm going to skip over Ninjago. Speed Champions, I guess these are vehicles, 007, DB5, Fast and the Furious car. Star Wars, this is where it gets interesting. The Justifier. I've no idea what that is. What is the Justifier?
Let me tell you what the Justifier is.
You're going on Google, aren't
you? The Justifier in Star Wars. No, I'm telling you, is Cad Bane's
okay.
Justifier was a starship flown by bounty hunter Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
It was his spaceship in the Clone Wars cartoon. I didn't know it was called the Justifier.
Okay.
Again, a bit of a sort of.
Oh, that could be cool then.
Yeah, Slave One, Justifier. Within that sort
I'd like a Cad Bane. Assuming that comes with a Cad Bane minifig, that could be cool.
Yep.
ATST at $29.99. That's probably going to be a smaller model, but
87 pieces.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan
spaceship and Obi-Wan Darth Vader. These are interesting because these obviously seem to be from Obi-Wan, the series. Obi-Wan Darth Vader. I wonder if that's like a battle scene or something. They've been doing these little dioramas of classic Star Wars trilogy scenes. Like they've done like Trash Compactor, the Trench Run, and what was the other one? Can't remember. But if that's something like that, where it's a scene where you got Vader and Obi-Wan fighting, that could be quite good.
Yeah.
BD-1, I'm well interested in that. That's the character from
Jedi Fallen Order. Yes, which is interesting because one of those droids did pop up in Boba Fett, but is BD-1 going to pop up in the Obi-Wan show? Is Cal Kestis going to pop up in the Obi-Wan show from the Fallen Order?
Yep.
That could be interesting.
Cool.
So again, spaceship from Kenobi.
Yeah. ATTE. Not sure what that is.
Don't know what that is.
No. And obviously Star Wars Advent calendar as well. And
another calendar for you, mate.
Super Mario set for $5.99. So, there's a few rumors out there about the upcoming Lego sets. So keep your eyes peeled. There's some great Lego YouTubers out there who do great videos about discussing this in a lot more detail than we do.
Well,
shouldn't say that, should I?
No. Watch
no, stay here, your Lego content. Stay here. Man. So there we go. A little love for the Lego fans in the house. But I'm really excited for the Star Wars sets. There was no Marvel stuff in there, was there?
Yeah, the Sanctum Sanctorium. Yeah. It's the stuff you said you was really excited about.
Sorry. The gin's got to me already. Right. Some sequel news for you, Jimbo. Venom is getting a third film. Did we know? We didn't know this, did we? But yeah. Sony Pictures were at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, not Baz Vegas.
Las Vegas!
On Monday night. And
I missed them.
They announced a few sequels that were coming to the Sony Pictures slate of productions. Obviously, the first being a sequel to Venom.
Play the game. They're doing a third, like it needed a trilogy. Jesus Christ. I spoke about Venom 2 on this show. Have you watched Venom 2 yet?
Interestingly, it's hit Sky this weekend, so I'm going to watch it hopefully this weekend.
It's rubbish. And
I remember you saying.
Yeah, and I'm light on films. I'm very friendly towards movies. Not as friendly as some. Alex Roth. Regular.
Is he very forgiving, is he?
Oh, he's just like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. He always says it's fine. It drives me fucking nuts because why do you want to spend money on fine? But no, it's awful. So it doesn't deserve a third film. Tom Hardy's a great actor. Get his Venom into something good. Yeah, get him into Spider-Man or something. Like, honestly, Stu, Venom 2 is really bad. There's no story whatsoever. None.
Whatsoever. I'll take a look this weekend.
Yeah, watch it.
Perhaps I know we've spoken about it before on the show, but I think it's nice to sometimes revisit something once someone else has watched it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll maybe talk about that next week. Yeah. And also, Ghostbusters Afterlife is getting a sequel, which I was very happy about.
Yeah, I want that.
There's a few. They could go quite. I think there's a few hints in that film towards the end as to where they can go with it. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Well, I'm saying that. Is there? Yeah,
in the post credits, Winston has bought the old fire station, hasn't he? In the post credit scene. Yep.
Does he?
Yep. In the post credit scene, Janine visits Winston, and because Winston's rich as fuck now, isn't he? He's runs this company. Don't know what it does. And did you not stay to the end of the credits, Stu? Come on, man. I
saw the Venkman and Dana bit.
All right, if you carry on. Yeah, there's another one.
I didn't know. Yeah. Shit, man. Tell me.
Janine visits Winston. Yeah. And she goes, "Oh, it's nice to be here." And he's like, yeah, it's nice to have you here. Bend over. And he says, "Yeah, I've made enough money, but I think I need to start investing in something else." And then you see him at the fire station, and you see them wheeling Ecto-1. And does he pull the cloth off it, or they just wheel it in? He's like, "Yeah, I think we need to start something or other." So Winston's at the fire station with Ecto-1. At the end, yeah.
Interesting. See, that is interesting because there was that trailer for the Ghostbusters VR game, and in that trailer, Winston was at the fire station in that, and kind of you were playing the role of, I guess, a new franchise of the Ghostbusters. So that kind of will make sense.
That's what you do, right? You like getting Bill Murray back. You're probably not gonna get Bill Murray back. I think you still need his approval to do a film because you know that the reason why it took so long to get another Ghostbusters film was Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and what's his name? The one we lost, Egon Spengler.
Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis. They all had to agree, didn't they? That was in their contract. They all had to sign off on it. So you're probably not going to get Bill Murray back, but you might get him to sign off. Now you've got Jason Reitman doing it. Winston's probably the cheapest actor to get out of the Ghostbusters. Like, no offense, but you could get his autograph for like 25 quid. So he's probably the cheapest one to get. And you get him sort of running the fire station. You get the girl back from the last Ghostbusters film.
Yeah.
And you probably have to get them hiring people. New people in New York. Like the last film. What, Rudd?
Did you get any other kid? Because I thought the group of kids was really good in Afterlife. I thought as a collective they kind of evoked that Stranger Things kind of.
Did they evoke the Stranger Things because you had the kid from Stranger Things in it?
I think they did.
Did we discuss this the other week, or was this me and someone else?
I don't know.
Because that film is no, I discussed this with my tattooist the other week. That film's not great, like as a film. Like even though I enjoyed it,
I love it. I think it's a good film.
No, it's not, Stu. It's not. It's not, Stu. Because tell me about the kid from Stranger Things character arc. What? How does he start and how does he finish?
Well, he is. There's a bit in there about him falling for like a local girl. He's a bit of a loser.
Yeah. Does he get with her?
I think he does he?
No. He doesn't do anything. This is the thing. No character does anything. That's the problem with the film. I really loved the film. I loved watching it. I got emotional. I cried at the end. But as far as a film goes, no character in the film does a thing. The little girl just discovers things along the way. Find that, find that, find that, find that. Wolfgang Loveheart, or whatever his name is from Stranger Things, doesn't do anything apart from fix the Ecto-1 at one point, but he doesn't do anything else. His love interest doesn't do anything. Their mum is a fucking deadbeat who doesn't get a job. She doesn't listen to them when they're saying certain things. You know, she does nothing. If she had a job, and the reason why she wasn't around when they're discovering ghosts and shit is because she had a job, that would be okay. But she doesn't have a job. She's just the layabout who doesn't do anything. Paul Rudd doesn't do anything. He just says, "Oh, you don't know about this?" And then he helps him see a ghost, and he's like, "Yeah, it's really cool." Doesn't do anything. J.K. Simmons plays the reanimated corpse of what's his name, the guy who designed the building for the first Ghostbusters film. So he,
no,
it's not Gozer. Gozer's played by Olivia Wilde. She doesn't do anything. It's the same villain from that film for no good reason. They have a Slimer type nothing happens. Egon and Ray falling out is ridiculous. Why would that happen? Like, Ray always loved the idea of ghosts, and Egon says we should go to this place, and Ray's like, "No, he's a goddamn son of a bitch." You're like, what the fuck? Like, how would that have happened? Ray would have been well up for going for that. Oh no, he'll just run his shop. None of it is good. But that's not to say I didn't really, really enjoy the film.
Podcaster Seddon again.
I'm sorry. No, because Seddon wouldn't say he really enjoyed the film at the end. And I did really enjoy it.
God love him.
But Seddon,
a lot of what you said is true. To be fair, perhaps I do get taken over a lot of the time with the nostalgia things and the emotional. It is an emotional film, and it does pack a bit of a punch at the end. And I can get a bit invested in something that hits me emotionally, and maybe I can't gloss over a lot of, I don't know, narrative cracks, if you like. So I think what you're saying is probably fair in the cold hard light of day.
Well, yeah, I
I
don't like
certainly
to be
won't argue it.
horrible. I don't like to be horrible, and as I say, I really enjoyed watching the film, and I cried at the end. But when you sort of look at it and you go, well, none of it really makes sense. Why was it the same villain? Why was it Gozer again? She didn't do anything. She just hang out at the where she was, and then she walked up and they put a load of traps up, and why was there terror dogs again? And why was there little marshmallow men? Just for nostalgia, like nothing was different. They didn't try anything new or exciting. It was just a bit of Stranger Things, I guess, with kids. I did like the girl. I thought she was awesome. And I really liked Podcast, her mate. That was his name, wasn't it? Podcast.
It was, yeah.
But apart from that, like nothing really. There was loads of bad stuff. But still, they're doing a sequel, and I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy about it. I hope they get someone else to write it.
Oh dear.
Sorry, Stu.
No, it's fine. No, I'm not going to besmirch your opinion at all. We all have an opinion, don't we? And that's fine. And you make points that I can't. I wish I could argue, but I can't. That's what I find so frustrating.
I still really enjoyed watching it, and I was really happy there was a ghost Egon in it. I was really happy about that, and I was happy to see all the Ghostbusters.
Spoilers.
But still, why would Ray at his shop do that massive like exposition dump about how Egon left them all and went off to do something on his own? And shut up.
Shut it. Yeah. So that
what else we got?
They were the big takeaways from CinemaCon in Las Vegas. Venom and Ghostbusters Afterlife getting a sequel, as is the Batman, which you're going to speak about later tonight. That's getting a sequel. That's been greenlit this week. So those big franchises keep on rolling. The creative death of Hollywood continues. Speaking of which, my segues on fire tonight, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, like mad.
We have got a trailer to react to, Jimmy. We're going to try and start doing this every week, and what we'll do is edit this out, as well as some, if we can, get some gold from this episode. We might not always get a bit of podcast gold to upload to the Facebook page, YouTube page. But even if we don't, we're going to certainly edit out this small section of a trailer reaction so people can absorb it at their pleasure. This week we have a trailer for Jurassic World Dominion, trailer 2. I don't really recall the first trailer, and I know I said to you I was going to do Chippendale.
Yeah,
Rangers, but I've called an audible on this because I wasn't sure how. I don't know if people would be that interested in the Chippendale trailer. To be fair,
probably not. Probably not.
No, but saying that, I don't know how interested people are in a Jurassic World Dominion trailer.
Yeah, they may have been more interested in a Chippendale.
Well, when you say Chippendale?
When you say Chippendale,
Chippendale.
Oh, I thought you meant. I thought that's what we were watching. Chippendale.
Well, it could be a crossover. Who knows? I don't know. Perhaps it's the crossover we want.
I think let's do Chippendale, Stu, because I think we're more likely to get some people go, what? They're doing a Chippendale movie rather than they're doing another Jurassic Park movie.
Yep, no, that's fair.
So for viewers, I think you were on point with your first suggestion of Chippendale.
Chippendale Rescue Rangers teaser trailer from Disney. It's going to be, is it Disney Plus? I don't know. I don't know if this is a movie or what it is.
I know on Netflix at the moment there's a documentary about the curse of the Chippendales, but I think that's about the rather than the chipmunks.
Okay, we're there. We are there. Let's key this up. Let's go full screen. This is the Chippendale Rescue Rangers teaser trailer. Should I find out what this is first? Should I find out if it's a film or what? I feel like I should contextualize this a little bit.
Well, yeah, find out.
Yeah,
go for it.
do.
Where else could it be?
Well, I don't. It could be a series, couldn't it? A animated series. I don't know. What would you prefer? Before I find the results, what are you thinking?
I'd consider. Well, I'm picturing a film like Sonic the Hedgehog with some animated chipmunks in the real world with a lovable white American man such as Neil Patrick Harris or James Masters or one of those white smiley men. That's my prediction.
It's a live action film featuring featuring animated versions of Disney's Chipmunks Chip and Dale. So it's I'm getting images of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Or Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah.
Or
with
Sonic.
Jason. Yeah. So who's our prediction of the white smiley man who's in it with them? Do you know?
I don't know. No, I don't. I was on the IMDb page, but I didn't look at that.
Okay. I'm gonna say I think John Krasinski could be a good shout.
Good shout. Who's the guy who was in Sonic?
James Masters.
James Marsden. James Marsden.
Played Cyclops, didn't he?
Yeah. I'll go with him again.
You're going with him?
He was in Hop. He was in
Sonic. Yeah, he was in Hop as well. Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, this could be the hat trick.
So you're going for that? Okay, I'm going to go for John Krasinski from The Office, American Office.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is going to be the trailer for Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger. Let's do this. Sorry, Rescue Rangers. Okay, here we go. Let's make sure it's not on mute. No, it's not. Right.
Real Hollywood story. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the show that defined a generation and turned two unknown chipmunks into international superstars. But as success took Chip and Dale to new heights.
To many more seasons of the Rescue Rangers.
We were living the dream, dancing the Roger Rabbit with Roger Rabbit.
No one ever imagined it could all come crashing down. Torn by vanity.
You look different.
Hey, it's no secret I had the CGI surgery done.
Consumed by temptation.
My love of cheese got the best of me. I just love it so much.
More, please. More, please.
Is it possible that two living legends are destined to reunite?
I'm thinking reboot.
Nobody wants a reboot.
It's the Rescue Rangers!
You need a disguise or something. Grab the first thing you can.
What?
Rescue Rangers 2.0.
This place looks weird.
Remember that animation style where everything looked real, but nothing looked right?
Who are you?
Are you talking to us?
Obviously.
But it looks like you're talking to that window.
It actually looks like I'm looking right at you.
Okay.
Look at my eyes, looking right at your eyes.
Yeah.
That looks so much better than I was expecting.
Yeah, man. I'm again.
No, sorry, that's me. That looked good.
Ooh, that looked great fun. Got some good actors in it. John Mulaney as one of the chipmunks, and who else? John Mulaney and Christ, you just said
Adam Sandberg was in it, I think.
Adam Sandberg, yeah. Andy Sandberg and John Mulaney. So from Big Mouth, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Eric Bana.
Seth Rogen was in there.
Seth Rogen, Will Arnett, some fun voices. I loved that. I've had the CGI work done. That is great. So you've got a mixture of Roger Rabbit style animation and Alvin the Chipmunk style. There look like a lot of funny in jokes there for people our age.
Yeah, it looked like it wasn't taking itself too seriously. Aimed for maybe original fans of Chip and Dale. Rescue Rangers from probably the late 80s at this point.
Scrooge McDuck was in there.
Yeah. Roger Rabbit, like we say, that looked really good.
No smiley white American man alongside them. They've just had each other. That was cool.
Yeah.
So they've obviously gone two separate ways in their life.
Alluding
so that was
to cheese addiction.
Yes, that was good.
Read into that what you will. Cocaine. The rigors of Hollywood taking its toll on the gang.
There was a piss take of cats in there. Clearly wasn't there. CGI character. There was a lot of there was a lot of meta jokes there about the animation and stuff like that, wasn't there? Yeah, that looked good fun. That looked like something for kids, but something for the nerdy adults who like the cartoon and who likes gaming and stuff. That looked great fun.
It did. Obviously, a trailer doesn't tell the whole story. Usually, so it could be utter shit. But on the surface, that was a good trailer for me. It's sold me. Really has. I'm all in for Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, man, me too. That looks exciting. I'm happy about that.
Looks good. Right. That's all I've got for you for the news, Jimmy. We're going to talk about what we've been watching this week or playing or whatever it is.
Stu, before you continue, could you excuse me for 1 minute, please? I will be back.
Of course, my friend.
I'm getting the call.
Okay.
But you don't need to say we'll be back in 5 minutes or anything. I'll be back in I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay. Are you okay?
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't do what I did last week and go for a wee.
I'll be back so quick. You get started with what we've been watching. I will. I'm listening.
You'll be listening, yeah?
Kind of.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'll carry on. So first up, we are going to take a look at our group watch project, if you like, which is Moon Knights, as we've been doing for the last 5 weeks. No, 5 weeks. This is episode 5 this week of Moon Knight. Unfortunately, I don't think Jimmy, God bless him, has watched it. So it's going to be down to me to kind of machete my way through the plot. And we know how I tend to struggle with that, but I shall do my best. So in episode 4, we left Stephen and Mark kind of revealed they were Mark got shot as he was kind of in the tomb with Harrow, got shot and kind of descended into this kind of watery pit, and he wakes up, we're assuming he's dead in this or having some kind of hallucination, and he's in this psychiatric or psych ward, and then all hell gets loose. There's like imagery everywhere of kind of all the imagery from what we've just witnessed in the previous show, like a lot of Egyptian imagery and just kind of various characters and such that we've experienced throughout the series to date, in this image of the psych ward, and that's kind of where episode 4 ended. So dead keen to kind of see where the story goes this week, and it very much kind of just cracked on from where it ended in episode 4. We were back in the psych ward, again introduced to the hippopotamus god type character. Hello, Jimmy. What I did was I just basically reached out to the end of episode 4. So brilliant. You haven't missed anything. I have explained that you haven't watched episode 5, which is a shame. Correct. But I will try my best to explain episode 5. Again, it really focused around the kind of Stephen and Paul being in the psych ward scenario as they ended in episode 5, and we learned that they are dead, or Mark is dead, and that they are now in the underworld. I forget what the name is for the underworld. Let me see if I can see it in my notes.
Hades? No,
it's not Hades. I don't think it's not particularly important. Duat, Duat. Right. So they're on a boat with the hippo god, which is the god of motherhood and children, I think. But it's the hippo character, and they're kind of on this journey to paradise. So they've got to kind of end up in paradise. But before they get to paradise, the scales of justice of their life have got to be balanced. So the hippo kind of reaches into both of their hearts, because they're still together at this point, and places their hearts on the scales, and it's kind of unbalanced throughout the episode. So the whole episode we're trying to get the scales balanced before they reach the paradise. What's it called? The field of reeds, which is what they proclaim paradise to be in Egyptian. I would say folklore, but it's not. You know what I mean? God law, whatever you want to call it, religion. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the whole episode is basically we're really uncovering exactly who Stephen and Mark are and what their relationship is to each other, and there are some really huge reveals from this relationship throughout the episode, and we kind of they go back into the psych ward in this on this quest to make the scales balance before they get to paradise. And to do that, they've kind of got to go back and reflect on moments in both their lives. Because at the start of the episode, we're still assuming they're the kind of two people. But as the episode goes on, we kind of learn what their relationship with each other was. And we learn that Mark had a brother, a younger brother. Yeah. And Mark, there was an instant when he was younger where Mark took his younger brother into like these caves to go on like an adventure. So I want to say, I'm not sure about this, but I think when they went on the adventure, I think his little brother put on, I think they were trying to reenact that classic, the adventure show that we get referenced throughout the previous episodes.
Stephen,
one of them
with Stephen Grant.
Yeah, when he's got the English accent. I think that's the case.
Video they're watching.
I could be wrong on that. I'd have to rewatch that to clarify, but I think that's what happened. But anyway, they go into the caves on this adventure, and the kind of cave is filling with water. And tragically, Mark's younger brother, dies. So this is kind of mainly revealed to Stephen, because Stephen is the one that doesn't really know what's going on, who he is, or what he's doing. He's the one that's confused. Mark is like the main kind of focus, and kind of ways really. No, I think that's unfair to say. I was going to say he was the main focus throughout the series, but I think it's been equally weighted. But
we started with Stephen, didn't we?
We did.
So the idea was that the thought was that Mark was the alternate, was the alter, the other identity. And Stephen was the main. So that's really interesting.
I do think as the series has gone on, it feels like Mark has understood and known more than what Stephen does. And I think this kind of really builds up into this episode where, Mark is really reluctant for Stephen to kind of go into all of these psych ward rooms and get these visions of like this past life. It's like Mark knows what Stephen is about to see, and that is actually what transpires. So, as the visions go on, Stephen learns that yes, Mark did have a younger brother who tragically died in a caving accident, if you like. Mark's mother, took this really badly and was starting to become abusive to Mark, and this is kind of what turned Mark down this kind of like darker trajectory in his life. Becoming a mercenary and stuff, and leaving home early, and really kind of affected his future outlook on life. And kind of the images get more and more tragic, and we kind of follow Mark throughout his journey into becoming a mercenary. But there's this one moment where things get so bad where I think his mum comes into his room and he's going to beat him. She gets out a belt and she's going to beat him for kind of, she really blames him for Mark's brother's death. And there's a moment where he just clicks and he becomes Stephen. So Mark kind of takes on this persona of Stephen as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
So Stephen isn't real. Mark is, the actual entity. He's the person, but Stephen is just a figment of his imagination. Going into that multiple personality disorder, and Stephen becomes or comes out when Mark is trying to shield himself from like the pain.
Well, as we've spoken about DID
mm,
before on the show, with watching videos of people with it and other shows, United States of I can't remember, Tony Collette's show, where
yeah,
it's trauma. It's
yeah,
always trauma at a young
yeah,
age that brings those personalities out to protect,
yeah.
to
And
say,
this is
I'm the one that takes care of all of this shit, and you don't even have to
yeah,
know about it.
and this is feeding directly into that.
Yeah.
So we also get to see the origins of Moon Knight. So we see Mark. Obviously, that's one revelation. The fact that Stephen isn't real, and there's been like a coping mechanism for Mark to deal with any kind of angst.
An alter,
Uh,
as they're known.
y-
They're an alter.
okay, excellent.
Mm.
And yeah, we get to experience in one of the other visions Mark becoming Moon Knight. I think he's on a mission in Egypt, and he's badly injured, and he kind of is crawling into what's his name? Is it Noshu? I want to say Noshu's tomb,
Right.
and Noshu. We'll go with that. It sounds good enough. He kind
Noshi,
of
yeah,
gives him
I like that.
he gives him a choice. You can become my avatar, become Moon Knight. Save yourself, become Moon Knight, and that's what he chooses. And he becomes the persona of Moon Knight. So that was an interesting aside. And we're getting to see the origins of the character. And the other kind of key moment in the episode was um, Mark's mother dies. Eventually passes, and there's a moment, and this is kind of set right before, just before the beginning of the series timeline wise. So when we kind of first meet Stephen in that first episode. So
Right.
this is, I think, like a few weeks beforehand, and Mark is overcome with so much grief that the Stephen character kind of overtakes him, and that's the moment when they both kind of bleed into each other's lives, and that's kind of where we find ourselves at the start of this episode, as they keep the two personas keep bleeding into each other's lives, and kind of that's where we go from there. Really interesting, kind of commentary on, as we said, like this multiple. Is it DID? You saying?
Yeah.
DID.
DID, dissociative identity disorder.
Okay, yeah.
It was called multiple personality disorder.
Yeah, but forgive me if I have said that and it's considered, not.
No, it's not. I think it changed because they're not personalities; they're identities. They're like fully recognized identities.
I would agree with this sentiment. Thank you, Roche Fox. Forgive me if I've butchered your name. Yeah, it was. It was. I think. I know I keep saying. I feel like I'm saying it every week when I say it's this best episode yet. But for me, this was the most rounded episode yet. You really got into the weeds of who Mark is as a character. I haven't found him particularly likable up until this point, and I was always kind of fending for Stephen and really hoping that Stephen would make, I don't know, maybe assume the greater personality, but yeah, it was a fantastic exploration of kind of why they are where they are mentally, and it kind of just the coping mechanisms that Mark's put in place, and it was really interesting, and it was emotional. Yeah, it was emotional. It was a good deep episode for me.
It sounds great.
Your mileage may differ.
I can't believe, like, me and the wife, as I said, have been so wrapped up in the Johnny and Amber Heard trial we've been watching every night. We just completely forgot to watch it. We've just been so wrapped up in watching that in the evenings and even at lunchtimes and whatnot. It sounds great, and the fact that they're treating DID properly with an actual reason why that happened. I know Oscar Isaac did do his research into it. It was interesting. I saw a TikTok. I hate TikTok, but I saw a TikTok video of a young girl. She must have been early 20s with DID, part of a identity system, which is what some say, where there's a good few of them, 6, 7, 15, 20, there could be huge amounts of identities who come out. And she was going to go and get a operation because some of her identities identified as male.
Wow.
So she was going to transition the body to a male, and she was very, very sad about it. She was crying. She was like, "This will be very, very sad for me." And a couple of the identities, or I can't remember the word she used, or a couple of the friends, in the system, friends, they look after each other, talk to each other. But it's going to make a lot of the identities very, very happy.
Yeah.
It's a very, very complex, complicated thing when the mind sort of fractures. Me and the wife was discussing it, 'cause she was saying how it's a clever thing that the brain does, where it does do this separation to protect this person from that abuse that they got.
Yeah.
And it
It's
is
really sad,
obviously,
isn't it? That that it, sorry,
incredible.
Jimmy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
terribly sad
that's it.
the body feels like it has to do that to protect the body and the mind is a wonderful, powerful thing, isn't it? And the fact that it can do that to protect you, to like preserve itself, preserve another identity is, I find that fascinating, absolutely fascinating. And I hope this. I mean, I enjoyed it on the surface, and I thought it does. I think it does things respectfully. I don't think.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And Oscar Isaac is he's been good throughout this. I think in the last couple of episodes has been fantastic, having to a whole range of emotions and just having to deal with multiple personalities and just he does it so well. He really does it so well. He really both Stephen and Mark are very distinct personalities, aren't they? And they're both very likable eventually. Yeah, and it's a powerhouse of a performance for me. It's been great. It's been great.
I mean, I'm looking forward to watching this. It was interesting listening to you describe the episode. Made me more excited to watch it, to be honest. Telling me about it, 'cause I always avoid spoilers, but actually, you telling me what was going to happen, because over the last 5 years or whatever, it's all about spoilers, isn't it? Things coming out and you going, "Don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me." In the past, before, I don't know, when we were younger, you go, "What happens in the film?" And someone would tell you, "Go, that sounds ace. I want to go and watch that."
Yeah.
You wouldn't ever sort of go, "Don't tell me spoilers" or anything like that. It was always like, "What happens? That sounds brilliant." And we're obsessed with spoilers now. And that was the first probably time I've been told something about a film where I haven't put my fingers in my ears, or a TV show. And I've gone, "That sounds brilliant. I really want to go and watch that."
Again, Rushfox says there isn't two identities in the Marvel books. Yeah, I'm interested. Like, I know, Seden's a huge comic book fan and avid reader, and I don't think he's taken to it particularly as well as I would argue both of us have. But I wonder if that's
really.
Yeah, I wonder if that's interesting for me from a comic reader's viewpoint. I do wonder if they're doing it a disservice, or maybe there's better stories available in the comics. I don't know. You could say, in today's way, we've had that discussion about coming into this with fresh eyes, and how that's probably certainly made me enjoy it a lot more, not knowing much about the character or this story, or what to expect from the story. I mean, the way this episode went was a real eye opener for me, and like I say, handled really well. And I have retained still some reveals for you. I didn't want to spoil the whole thing for you, so there is still some stuff that you will have to experience. But yeah, I absolutely loved it, Jimmy. Yeah, and look forward to the final episode next week. Yeah,
because we've got one left, haven't we? One left.
We have. I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed this show. It's been at times. It's had a little bit of everything. It's had that kind of deep commentary on mental health. It's been like an Indiana Jones romping action. It's been funny. It's been tear-jerking, fantastic performances, a great antagonist. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But it might not be, if you're an avid comic book fan, it might not be to your taste. I appreciate that. If you know the character inside and out, it may be disappointing for you. But coming into it with some separation. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, mate, and I hope you enjoy episode 5.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I'm looking forward to watching it. I really am. It's weird. As I say, it's the first time I've had a spoiler for a while, but it's actually made me look more forward to watching it. It's
good.
Yeah, it'll be cool, man. It sounds great, and I've enjoyed every episode up till now, and yeah, it's certainly been up there with a really interesting show. Yeah, good fun.
Let's keep the talk of superheroes going. And you brought to the table this week. Well, you tell us what you're bringing to the table this week, Jimmy.
Well, I'll tell you what I've brought to the table. I watched the Batman.
Interesting.
The new Batman film,
Yeah.
starring Robert Bat as Batman, or Robert Pattinson, formerly known as playing a Dracula in the Twilight series.
Yeah.
Alongside Kristen Stewart.
Lady Diana, please.
Lady Di. And we had Andy Serkis as Alfred. We had Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Playing Jim Gordon, we had I've forgotten his name. He was the guy who voiced the Watcher in the Marvel.
God, Jeffrey Wright.
Yes, brilliant actor. We had Colin Farrell playing the Penguin. We had I've forgotten the name of the chap playing the Riddler.
Colin Farrell.
I'll tell you who we did have as well, which I didn't know was in it. Your friend, who played Jesus in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, I've just seen John Turturro's in it.
John Turturro plays Falcone. Falcone.
Awesome.
Falcone, yeah.
More of him later, by the way. Yes,
probably. Oh, well, has he been arrested for saying? Probably the best thing in it. Actually, his performance. Really? He's lovely as Falcone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? This isn't good?
No, he's really good.
No, but you're saying he's the best thing in it. But is that in relation to something?
Let me tell you.
I'll shut up.
It's a 3-hour film, and when some of our friends watched it on our group, and we said, describe it in one word. Midian, our good friend Midian, said long.
He did, didn't he?
And he weren't kidding. And I've got to admit, Stu, I fell asleep.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
I watched, clear now.
I think I watched 2 hours and maybe 2 hours and 10, 2 hours and 20. And then I fell asleep. I was watching it with a listener of the show, Alex Roth, and I fell asleep and woke up when my phone went off with my wife saying 2 of the kids are still up. You need to come home. And I was like, yeah. Oh, it's the credits. Alex, what did I miss? And he told me what I missed. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound good. So the Batman, I'll tell you what's interesting about it. Most of the film, Robert Bat is in the Batman outfit. He's Batman for most of the film. You see him as Bruce a bit, but for loads of it, he's just Batman. Yeah. And it is a film noir detective film. Detective story.
7
It is not.
I've heard.
Sorry?
Is that fair to say? 7 like 7?
Yeah, a little bit, but nowhere near as good.
Just a bit of a lazy interpretation of it.
Yeah, probably lazy because it's not there. It's a mixture of 7 and Blade Runner and
what else? Sounds good.
Saw.
Really?
Yeah, but it's not as good as those films because what I like with Batman and Jim Gordon, like the Nolan films are brilliant. You got Batman. We're gonna have to do this. We can't do this, Batman. You gotta right. You've got your two characters who are different from each other, right? But they understand the same thing. Jeffrey Wright, Jim Gordon, Robot Batman, you know. Batman. So when the Riddler does this, Jim Gordon, that's right. So and it's all like that, like Alfred. That's what I say, Batman. Catwoman. I love you, Batman. So it's all down there. Everyone is doing Batman. Everyone's playing the Batman. So it could be any characters. It could be a guy in a trench coat going around trying to solve this mystery. So it's a detective movie. And I know that that's what they were going for, because obviously Batman is supposed to be the world's greatest detective. And in recent Batman incarnations, he hasn't done any detecting at all. He's just been shooting guns and being Ben Affleck or whatever. So they really tried to go for the detective part of it. But maybe it's me in this modern world, and maybe if this film came out in 1988 or 1989 or early 90s, you go, yeah. But for me, it was boring, Stu. It was really boring.
Really.
And yes, I drunk a bit, so I fell asleep because I'd had a bit of a drink. But I hadn't drunk a lot, Stu. I drank 1 bottle of Prosecco, which isn't a huge amount for me. But even like Alex as well said, that Jesus, that was boring, man. And I think it was a film out of time. So I could see why some people who are sick of all the flash and bang of modern movies would go, brilliant. Back to old school detective solving a crime. Great. And I get that. But for me, it was
missing some bat nipples for you.
No. And we mentioned bat nipples, me and Alex Roth, when we were watching it, because I said,
great minds.
Because Robot Bat looked great as Batman. He looked brilliant. And I went, it's hard to fuck up Batman, though, the look in it. And then we went, apart from bat nipples. Yeah. You can fuck it up. So it looked great. The soundtrack was great. The acting was great. Robert Pattinson as Batman was brilliant. He looked perfect. His jaw was ace. The costume was ace. Colin Farrell as the Penguin was brilliant. As I said, the guy playing Falcone, John Turturro, beautiful. Kravitz as Catwoman, a little bit bland. And again with Serkis as Alfred, again a little bit bland. Yeah, it seemed like a film out of time, and maybe that's what people needed right now, because they're sick of the flashbang wallop. And as I say, I love the Joker movie, which was probably a film out of time, right? That was like King of Comedy. That was like a film from the 70s, the Joker. But maybe it was the fact that we had such a beautifully recognized, well acted central character in the Joker that kept that going. Whereas in the Batman, he wasn't that interesting.
The Joker film is such a wonderful like character piece, or for want of a better term. It sounds a bit poncy, but do you know what I mean? It's very much a dissection of what makes the Joker the Joker. You know, is it that nature nurture kind of concept, which is one I'm going to go into shortly as well with stuff I've been watching. But it's that would, and it's cool. That's a really interesting tale, if nothing else. The narrative is just really interesting in the Joker. But
yes, that's it.
Yeah.
And in the Batman, there's no origin, which is
straight in there.
Straight in, which is cool.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It just cracks on. He's the Batman, and I turned to Alex. I was like, well, no mucking about here, no sort of origin. This is it. This is Batman. This is who we got. But it starts with that. As I walk the streets, you see the scum and the villainy on the street. You know, it's like it's very Watchmen. It's very it's very much stuff that's been done before.
I think that's the problem. it's not really doing anything new. It sounds like it's trying to be a new
Yeah.
Nolan series, a gritty, realistic, darker Batman.
Yeah.
Going against what we've had with Batfleck, and it's trying to do something that sadly has already been done and probably been done better before.
Yeah, I don't know, and it worries me because when I start doing, now we do the YouTube stuff, you sort of to go, do I just not get it? Am I just not seeing it? Am I
Yeah.
am I not educated in film enough? But then you go, no,
get you.
I watch enough films and I understand what films should be. The same way we can look at things like Ghostbusters Afterlife and go, I
It's
bloody
brilliant,
loved it and I enjoyed it, but
and
film
it's good.
wise, it does. There's loads of issues with it. And we watched it, and the last film me and Alex watched together was Dune. And again, it was the same sort of thing where you can go, visually, I can see it's a masterpiece.
Mm.
But in terms of watching it, it's so boring. And again, you sort of go, I worry that am I now a TikTok, YouTube generation where I want instant gratification? Which I
Yeah,
don't think
maybe.
I am. I don't think I am because I can watch, Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, which kept me entertained throughout, and I can watch hours of, Better Call Saul or whatever. But it was, yeah, it was. I think it was dull. I think the acting was good in the context. I think it looked great, visually stunning, directed well. Music was good, like intense. Batcar was unreal. Yeah, like the
How was
back.
that chase scene, Jimmy?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting, and it was, it was a what they called those cars, muscle cars. It was a muscle car with similar aspects to the original Adam West car, because that was based on a muscle car as well. So that was cool. Chase scenes with cars, though, these days are hard to get excited about because they've been done so much. So again, I think it goes back to, I think maybe we've just been spoiled for so many years with so much stuff. If it's not Mad Max, Fury Road, with guitar players, with flamethrowers and guys on pole
Yes.
vaults going back and forth, you're like, what am I watching? Just some cars chase around each other. I don't give a shit.
We've been spoiled, haven't we?
Yeah,
No,
and maybe that's the thing.
it's an interesting one. Do you think, like, I don't like to refer back to everything being about becoming a parent or what, that kind of situation that we find ourselves in. But do you think, time is such a precious commodity for us these days? It could be for anyone. We're all busy people. You don't just have to be a parent to, have limits on the amount of time you've got available. Are we becoming like just intolerant of anything that's longer than, I don't know, an hour, 90 minutes?
I think it's certainly.
I think it plays a part.
Yeah, I think it does play a part. The other night, I had an episode of Picard to watch, 50 minutes, 45 minutes. It was 9:00. The wife went to bed, was going to bed. I said, yeah, I'm only going to be up for half an hour. And she went, yeah, right. I went, no, I'll be upstairs. I'll be up in half an hour. I'm not going to watch Picard because I only want to be up for another half an hour. So I'm exhausted. I watched an hour and a half, 2 hours of YouTube.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
and I
You
was
chuck
like,
on YouTube.
Jesus,
Yeah,
I could have
it's
watched
what I do.
Picard. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny, isn't it? How generally viewing habits have evolved over the last 10, 15 years. Feels like
Yeah.
we're less tolerant of anything that is over an hour. And I can't remember where I heard this saying, but I always kind of stick to it, or it's something I believe in quite a lot. Is if you can't say in your movie something in 90 minutes, then it's not worth saying at all. If you can't produce a film within 90 minutes, then don't bother. I guess it could be a bit harsh to be fair, because that would exclude a lot of amazing films. But yeah, I think there is something in brevity of content and trying to keep things short and sweet, because people's time is precious these days. And I don't know. Do you think it was the length of Batman? And I'm rambling, but do you think it's the length of Batman that's kind of put you off it a little bit?
I certainly think that comes into it.
Mm.
It took me long enough to watch it. I had access to it for probably about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and
Yeah.
eventually I was like, "Alex, let's get together and watch it because I don't want to watch this on my own. I don't want to sit down for 3 hours on my own and watch this. I'd rather sit with a mate and we can comment on it as we go."
Yeah.
So that was definitely there, and I agree that I used to love the hour and a half movies. It was always 90 minutes. That was your movie length, wasn't it, in the 80s and early 90s?
Mm.
Then when films started to get longer, I loved that. 2 hour long. Yeah, if I'm going to cinema, I want to, yeah, give me more Lord of the Rings. Give me an
Yeah.
extended cut that's 2.5 hours long,
Yeah.
2 hours. Give
Yes.
me more. Now, time is a lot more precious. There's more to watch. There's too much to watch.
It's another thing. It's the amount of content that we've got. Not just
You know,
pressures on time. It's the amount of
yeah.
stuff out.
I watched 2 episodes of Peacemaker. I finished Peacemaker this week. 2 episodes. But because I could turn off if I wanted to after the first one, that was nicer to me than going, I'm going to watch a 2-hour film.
Yeah.
And just, Peacemaker, amazing.
I've seen the first episode, loved it. Need to finish that series.
It carries
Really
on. It doesn't dip. It's amazing. It's maybe my favorite superhero TV show of all time.
The first episode was good.
Buffy and Angel, but out of Marvel and DC,
Yeah.
it's banging. It's fucking banging. So yeah, I think it's probably been, if this would have come out when I was younger, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But it just seemed pointless in this sea of Batman, in this sea of movies. I didn't learn anything new about Batman.
No.
But are we supposed to learn anything new about Batman? Have we?
Well, I don't know. I want. If we don't, then it's just another retelling of Batman, isn't it? I think that it's just another safe retelling. I don't know.
We've had Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. Even though they're part of the same thing, they're still sort of in there, And then we had Nolan's Batman. Then we had Gotham, which gave us all of his upbringing. Then we had Ben Affleck coming as Batman. Then we had the Batman coming to Titans, which is the Scottish guy who was in Game of Thrones. He was Batman in Titans. And then you get this Batman where it just throws you in a story where you go, okay, it's just a detective story with Batman in it. I think, as I say, the film's great as a film, but I don't know why it's Batman. Batman.
Just keep saying Batman.
Yeah, felt like I'd said Batman so many times there. But yeah, I watched the last episode of Renaissance Men. I noticed how I really rambled on, so I'm going to stop there.
Okay. Oh yeah. What was I can't remember what our code word was back in the day. Perhaps we need to reintroduce that. Jimmy Shush. No. I think that was an interesting discussion on kind of where we are at the state of just general content, to be honest, and the length of content and our inability to concentrate for longer than 90 minutes. But saying that, we do this for like 2.5 hours every week. So I should watch Batman.
You should watch it. Yeah, definitely.
I will do. Yeah, it's on. It's on Sky, whatever it is. Their premiere. It will be about 15 quid though.
Yeah, I wouldn't say rush. I'd say wait, man. You're not missing anything. It's not like
I really do want to watch it though. Really do. Yeah, I'm really interested.
It's not like Spider-Man, where we had all our Spider-Men. It's even like Flashpoint, where we're getting Michael Keaton as Batman back. That's exciting. This was just nothing's going to spoil this Batman for you. Nothing. I can't see how it could. Unless you watch the breakdown of it on YouTube, nothing's going to spoil it. There's nothing to be spoiled, I don't think.
Interesting stuff. Thank you, Jimmy, for bringing that. An interesting discussion, like I say. I'm going to finish things off. I admit I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to kind of round off my discussion on The Night Of, which, if you remember, was the kind of police procedural investigative kind of show on Sky Atlantic, which was 4 or 5 years old now. With Riz Ahmed, he won an Emmy for his performance as Naz, the guy, the American Pakistani who was suspected of killing a young lady on a night out after being drugged. He was drugged, and they both took drugs, and he kind of wakes up and the girl's in a pool of blood and has 20 odd stab wounds, and he kind of gets arrested, and we're seeing like that sorry, I keep hitting my mic. We keep seeing the investigation process. I really enjoyed the first few episodes. I think I'd only watched 2 or 3 up until the point where I spoke about it the first time. I wanted to kind of summarize more of my thoughts this week because I've now finished it, and it's a fantastic series. I know I kind of implored everyone to go out and watch it last time, but yeah, more of the same from me. It really was great. As it went on, it kind of went in a direction I didn't expect it to. It was very much, if you remember, I was mentioning, you're kind of seeing things as from the jury's perspective. It's kind of playing out. You don't really know what's going on. You're seeing the evidence unfold before you, in like typical procedural style. But it kind of takes, as Naz takes more, or it spends more time in prison. It starts to become more of a social political commentary. It's that nature versus nurture argument, whether someone is born to be a criminal or a psychopath or whatever, or whether it's kind of like society that molds them into that. And he's in this. I think is it Rikers? I think the prison's called. I think it's an actual prison, right. Rikers, in New York, and a really tough. Well, they paint it as a really tough prison. And he goes into it like a fish out of water as the investigation's ongoing. He's obviously retained in prison in Rikers. And just the environment that he's in is really changing him throughout the whole process. But to the point where you start off feeling really sorry for him, when he's thrown into this situation, this kid thrown into this situation. It's it comes from a very conservative family, and he's thrown into this. He goes on this night out, and he's letting off some steam, and you feel sorry for him. I can't put it any other way, but you start to hate him, strangely. He kind of develops his character. He gets immersed in like the prison lifestyle. He gets in with the wrong crowd. He gets tattoos and shaves his head, and he takes on like a persona. And it's like society or the prison environment is changing his character. And you kind of get to the end of the series, and you don't really care whether he did it or not, or I certainly didn't. I started to not care because I didn't really like him, because he was doing such awful things in prison. Granted, it's kind of a lot of it is he's having to do that to survive. He's getting in with the wrong gang, and he's having to smuggle drugs up his jacksie, or kind of aid and assist in cutting someone's throat. He gets involved in some really kind of grim stuff in the prison. But so it's quite interesting in what it does. That commentary on how society can change a person or affect a person's character in such a way. But also with the John Turturro character who plays his attorney, that kind of is his attorney. The guy with itchy feet, spot on. I won't go into the nitty gritty of the narrative and his story, but he is his solicitor, but he then kind of gets taken off the case, comes back into it, and you see him growing as well. But he's growing in confidence, and he's becoming a character that comes into his own. He kind of gets his own personality, and he becomes better at his job, and that's all because of like factors that society is placing on him. He was kind of down in a really struggling place with his eczema, which is caused by stress, and the kind of not really believing in himself, and that kind of this is how I read it. Of course, this isn't. Someone else might read it completely differently, but I just found that, and as he as he gets more confidence in himself, and he kind of opens himself up to the world, and like takes on more responsibility, gets some self confidence, and his eczema does start to dissipate. And it's only when his confidence gets knocked, and like society gives him a hammer blow, his working environment gives him a hammer blow, that his eczema then starts to come back. So it's this really interesting play between how society can affect both uh, Naz in prison and John Turturro in a positive and negative way for both of them. It's just really interesting. It's framed around a really compelling investigative drama. And the final scene, right at the very end.
Don't no spoilers.
No, I'm not going to.
No.
I'm not going to. But it had me punching the air. I was almost in tears, just how it went.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with the court case at all.
He finds the best eczema cream you've ever seen in your life. Clears him right up.
It's just a little subplot within it, and that's I don't know. That's a sign of a great TV show for me. It's when you're invested in like just the smallest subplots that's going along throughout the whole season. When they can just pull out something right at the very end, and then you're punching the air, and then when you're sad to see the TV show go, when you're sad that you haven't got any more episodes to watch, for me that's a sign of a really, really, really good TV show, and that's what The Night Of is. It's so good.
How many episodes was it, Stu?
8, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, not a great time investment at all. The last episode is an hour and a half. Because there's a lot to wrap up in that final episode. But I think some of the early ones are just over an hour. But yeah, they're not. They're typical length.
Any weak episodes in the middle, or does it just? It's all just good.
I genuinely don't think there were. I was engrossed throughout. There's no real weak character in there. The district attorney, who's kind of on the prosecution side, she was a bit mumbly. She had kind of that Carrie Fisher mumble about her, like she'd taken a lot of drugs, a lot of cocaine in the 80s. So I was struggling to hear what she was saying at points. But no, I genuinely, I don't think there was many, if any, weak episodes. I can kind of tell a good show with how much I'm on my phone. And I wasn't on my phone a lot watching this. It's really good. That's going to certainly be, if we do a Stiffies this year, that's going to be in my new to us for sure.
We'll definitely do a Stiffies this year.
Yeah, it's really good. If you get the time and you've got time to invest in it, then I highly recommend The Night Of. You can get access to it on Sky. Really good stuff.
It sounds great, and it with interesting ideas with your man. With what's his name? Riz Ahmed.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed. Is it? I assume I'm pronouncing that correctly. I do apologise if I'm not. Riz. Yeah. Is it Riz or Reese? Riz? I don't know.
Is it R-I-Z, right?
Yeah. The guy who's in
Rogue One. Riz Ahmed. And
very good actor.
Nightcrawler or Night.
What's we called it?
Whatever we called it last Night Stalker. Whatever we called it. I think it's Nightcrawler, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it is.
But that's interesting when he's in prison, as you say, how he changes, and that's
it's sad to see,
Yeah, and I'd like to think it's a commentary on prison changing people, and I think it's in the Shawshank Redemption. Old Tim Robbins, his character Andy Dufresne says, "I had to come into prison on the outside. I was an honest man.
Yeah,
I had to come to Shawshank to become a criminal, which of course." Even if you do get sent in for the wrong reason, once you're in there, you got to do what you got to do because it's new rules.
Exactly, and there's an interesting point where John Turturro gets to give the closing speech. He's kind of been on the sidelines throughout a lot of the trial, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but he gets to do the closing speech, and it's a really amazing, emotive speech that he gives, and it's kind of like this moment where he's becoming almost what he didn't think he could be, like this this highly respected lawyer, at the start of the program, he's just like I forget the term they call it, like a precinct rat or something. He's kind of he just takes the jobs of people who are clearly guilty. He does it. He just represents them, and tells them to plead guilty.
Because they have to have a lawyer, right?
Yeah, exactly. But he kind of grows and grows throughout he's so likable as a character, and he gives this really kind of evocative closing speech, and he points to Naz or Riz Ahmed, and he says, "Look, this is what you have to do to survive." And he's there with a tattoo on his neck like Cody Rhodes and shaved head. He looks like a fuck now. But at the start of the series, he goes in as like this freshly clean cut, not long hair, but he's got a full head of hair, and he's just a young Pakistani American kid, highly conservative Muslim kid, and
sounds great, man.
It is good. It is good. I hope I'm not overselling. I hope people don't watch it and think, "Oh, this was rubbish. What was he on about?"
Don't worry about it.
Talking.
They can give us some comments or dislikes. Has John Turturro had his own like TV show yet? Because he's. It seems like he could. It seems like he could helm one, doesn't it? Because he is fantastic.
Yeah,
like Cranston Brad or Bob Odenkirk in Better Call Saul, or the man who plays Bosch, or David Boreanaz in Bones, or any of these. These people that sort of get these Netflix or Amazon shows or Hulu or whatever. He could definitely helm a show, couldn't he? He's charismatic and an excellent actor as well. He can be funny. He can be serious. He seems like he would be. You could get him at a decent price again. I think there's certainly precedence to give him a show. And there was actually a sequel to The Big Lebowski, starring him.
The Jesus Rolls, is that what it is?
Yeah, Jesus Rolls. It's the sequel to The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
I've never watched it. I heard about it, and I told my dad about it, who's a massive fan of The Big Lebowski, and he watched Jesus Rolls, and he said it was dreadful. So it was really bad.
In it. Wow.
I have not watched it, but my dad's a good judge. I would watch it, but because of what he said, yeah, I didn't. But he's a great actor. That sounds great, man. I'd love to give that a go. It's just really finding the right moment.
I know. That's the thing. But it's out there, and if people do watch it, if you do watch it, do let me know what you think. I would really like to get your opinions on it.
Link in the comments below.
Please do. That's something I've got to do.
Please, someone put it. Please, someone put it in the comments. I can't be bothered.
No, I forgot. Yeah, that's something I need to do. Okay.
I don't know. It's just something that YouTubers say, so I just say it. I don't know what it even means.
No, you, me both. Jimmy, it's time to find out whether the past can still make us laugh. So we'll join us after this.
Can the past make us laugh?
Still deadly terrifying.
I'm sorry, Stu, but I think what did you tell DRB to do? Did you say we're threatening all of the people that are listening to the show? So can you make everything as scary as possible?
I know. I did give him a brief to be fair.
What the hell was your brief to make it sound like he's the guy from Saw?
I didn't give him one, so you could argue this is kind of like this is like a reflection of his inner turmoil. I'm a bit worried, to be honest, about the boy.
I thought you said you did give him a brief. Okay, well let's give him another go, because I think they're hardly in line with our light-hearted approach to stuff. We go, next up this section. Does the past make you laugh? Hi, welcome back. It doesn't really work, Stu. I mean, they sound pro, and I love hearing DRB's voice, but I think we need to get him to do some more. At least get him to chuckle during it. So he goes, does the past still make us laugh?
Oh, dear. Yeah, there's a fair comment. Jimmy, what have you got for us this week?
Well, Stu, this was a tricky one because I'm trying to stay away from stuff we've already looked at. So I don't want to bring up another Russ Abbott, another Fry and Laurie, another Not the 9 o'clock news.
Yeah.
And honestly, I looked at a lot of Hale and Pace. I'm desperately trying to find a sketch from Hale and Pace that could make us laugh. It's really not. It's really bad. I remember finding it funny when I was 8 or 9. I watched one scene where it was 2 sets of Chinese people on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. There's probably about 10 on each, with Griff Rhys-Jones on one side and Mel Smith on the other, in Chinese face. Is that what it's called? But they are, and they're from 2 different provinces, and they're meeting and they're giving each other gifts. And Mel Smith and Griff Rhys-Jones are doing the worst Chinese accents you've ever heard. Yeah. And I'm watching it going, what am I even laughing at? And at points they're laughing at each other's Chinese accents, but there's loads of Chinese people around them as well. And you're going, this is so confusing and weird and rubbish. And it was another sketch, Smith and Jones, the Smith and Jones praying mantis sketch. And you could, getting married, and it says the praying mantis sketch where they're getting married, and already go, well, I know what this is going to be about. The woman's going to eat the husband afterwards. So he's going to, so much crap. So much of the past was not making me laugh at all. Loads of Steptoe and Son I was looking through. There's loads in there, and I'm going to get the Steptoe and Son. But I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go with something that's not crazy old, but probably still about 25 years.
Yep.
It doesn't seem old to me because as a kid, I watched it, and in my heart, I still feel like I'm about 20. But obviously, we're fucking older now, aren't we?
We are.
Than 20.
I hate to say it's almost 30 years, Jimmy.
Jesus, seriously? Well, God, that's not. Oh, God. Okay, well, we've gone for The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer, and I'm a massive fan of Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. Now, even more so, Bob Mortimer. I think he's one of the funniest men and the nicest men ever. Anything Bob Mortimer does is wonderful. All of Bob Mortimer's stuff on Would I Lie to You is hilarious. And his show with Paul Whitehouse, where they go fishing on BBC iPlayer, is one of the nicest, loveliest shows to watch. But this is The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer doing MasterChef 1995. Is that when it's from, 1995?
Well, I assume so. It's probably going to be like 96, isn't it? Or 95, 96.
Yeah.
If they're referencing the year before, I don't know. But
do you know, I remember this sketch. I remember enjoying it when I was 16. So I haven't watched it for a while. And I didn't watch it again. I thought, I'm going to wait. I'm going to watch it with Stu because I remember it making me laugh. And let's see.
Okay. Well, this is... The Smell of Reeves and Mortimer. Let's take a look. What can the past still make us laugh?
Hello, and welcome to MasterChef. Tonight we'll be meeting 3 of Britain's most innovative new chefs. And so without any further ado, let's go over now to the Red Kitchen and meet the first of our new chefs, Joan Baptiste. Hello, Joan. Well, this first dish here is not only innovative, it looks absolutely delicious. So, tell us about it, Joan.
This is a first play in the form of Jesus Christ for children to learn the story of Jesus.
Okay, right now I can instantly see that it's got 2 eggs for eyes, a tomato, and a sausage.
The story unfolds. See, the people follow him, he is happy. See, they betray him, he is sad. See, his eyes are lovely and open.
Yeah, okay, I can see the eyes there. Look at
Oh, he's bloody crying now.
But these ears here, they look really realistic. What are they made of?
No sacrifice is too great for
God. And I did not make your stupid dinner cry, okay? Let's move on now to our second show. It's Quentin Mint.
Yeah?
Hello, Quentin.
Hello, my dear fellow. How are you?
Hello. And what have we got here?
Why don't you take a look for yourself?
My God! It's not, is it?
I rather think it is, sir.
Okay, well, how innovative. Let's take a slice.
No, don't do that. Oh, very good.
What?
We have no other option.
Okay, moving on to our final chef of the evening. In the blue kitchen, it's Lucas Bonchon, who's world famous for his exquisitely designed replica cakes and puddings. And I don't think anybody could fail to see what this one is supposed to be.
That's not large. Cake a shoe. It's a shoe cake. Cake like a shoe. Cake a shoe.
Well, it certainly is very realistic. So let's take a slice. Lucas, this is a shoe.
No, it's a shoe cake. It's a cake like a shoe.
Show me your feet. Look, it's a shoe. Lucas, does this mean that I ate a pair of trousers in your restaurant last week?
No, cake trousers. Trouser cake. It's cake like trousers. Trousers, but a cake. Look, try this one. I've got a cakey phone here, like. Try that. Cakey foot.
Lucas, you're just a fakey cake maker, and I ain't got time for you. Well, I think you'll agree we've seen some very innovative dishes tonight, and all that remains is the difficult task of choosing a winner. Well, I just cogitated, and the winner tonight is Quentin Mint. Well done, Quentin. And I can't wait to get stuck into his dish.
Terrifying. Do you know what? I don't know. I'm conflicted somewhat. Let me stop that, because yes, parts of that were funny. Let me get rid of Ulrika. But I don't know, and this is symptomatic of a problem I've always had with Reeves and Mortimer. I don't know. It's quite at points. It's quite surreal.
Points,
don't you think? Well,
yeah,
okay.
it's incredibly. I mean,
I don't know how I get on with surreal comedy. The funniest thing for me from that was the fact that Lloyd Grossman had a massive head and was almost like a ghostly, terrifying Nosferatu style, like horrendous, monstrous character. That was funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much else of it was funny.
It's weird, isn't it? They certainly did something extremely different to what was being done at the time. Like no one was doing what Vic and Bob were doing at the time. Because the thing that I found really funny is something I'd never noticed before. Because I've seen that clip probably a good few times, not for years.
Yes.
But Bob Mortimer, when he's talking about the shoe cake, every time he speaks, he's clicking his fingers for no reason whatsoever. And it's things like that which I find absolutely incredibly funny. Like he's got, it's a shoe cake. You know, it's cake, looks like a shoe. And you're like, why is he clicking his fingers? It makes no sense whatsoever. I love Vic and Bob. Me and John from the John Simmons Scale Model Maker, like we love Vic and Bob. So any of those anything weird as fuck, I find absolutely hilarious.
Were you a Boosh fan? Mighty Boosh fan?
I was in the Mighty Boosh.
Were you?
Yeah, I'm in one episode. Sure, yeah.
You're kidding me,
I'm
Jimmy.
I'm an extra. Yeah, this is not actually me mucking around. I was good friends. I haven't seen for a long time with Noel Fielding's brother Michael Fielding, who plays Naboo. So he invited me along to be an extra in one of the episodes, and I was actually, when I was at the tattooist the other day, I got a clip up. We'll get it up next week.
Yeah, brilliant.
So I was a mighty. I did like the Mighty Boosh
until you were in it.
No,
it went down massively downhill.
No, I liked it, but I think it was for people younger than me. Even though people older than me liked it,
I never got it. I never got it. I don't know.
Bits of it I liked, but I think I felt it. The absurdity of stuff had been done back with Reeves and Mortimer.
Yeah,
so it was interesting. I was once invited to a Noel Fielding art exhibition in Shoreditch, by Michael Fielding, because we were mates. We still are mates on Facebook. We haven't spoken properly for a long time. But I went to the art exhibition, and Vic Reeves was at the art exhibition.
Oh, okay.
There was loads of Noel's work all over this building, and some of Michael's work. But Vic was there because Vic's an artist, and also Vic will love any of, well, Jim Noir as his real name. He'll love any of that sort of absurd stuff. So he was there, and I wasn't brave enough to speak to Vic Reeves. I wasn't brave enough to go up to him. But Matt Berry was there, and I went and spoke to Matt Berry.
Did you?
And he didn't like what I said to him.
Did you just go, but?
No, because it was way before that.
Okay.
But that day I'd been watching Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, where I'd watched him drive a bumblebee up another bumblebee's ass, or he did something in it. And I said to him, I went, Matt, Mr. Berry, or whatever I said. I was watching you drive a fly up a bumblebee's arse earlier. He went, I was like, all right, whatever. Wasn't impressed to meet me in the slightest. But so any of that new absurd sort of stuff I like, or I like, but I think Reeves and Mortimer had done a lot of it already. And as I say,
the originators.
And as I say, Bob Mortimer, anything he does now, I still find really funny. And just the idea of him clicking his finger as he speaks, I find really funny. I remember one time I was out in Colchester with all of my friends, and I was with John Simmons, Scale Model Maker. I was also with our friend Lee Baker. Do you remember Lee? Yeah. Really, really funny guy. Comes across as a very straight-laced guy, but absolutely hilarious. And we were dancing in a club with a very low ceiling, and this ceiling had a big crack in ceiling. Sorry, dancing in a club with very low ceiling, and this club had a very low ceiling with a crack running all along the top. I have said that right, haven't I?
No, you did. Yeah, I don't know why you corrected yourself.
No, I thought have I just said the right words. And we're dancing, and every so often Lee would stop his dance move and just push his finger into this big crack in the ceiling and freeze, and then take it out and carry on his dancing. And then he'd start talking to you and then stop, and this finger would go back up in this crack. And again, just absurd, but it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, because there's no reason for him to stop his dance move to put his finger in this massive crack in the ceiling. So I love that stuff. So that stuff there, Reeves and Mortimer, I think it's amazing. I think it's groundbreaking.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to deny that they weren't like pioneers in that. I don't know. Is it fair to say that's a genre of comedy? I guess, you know what I mean. That kind of irreverent, very surreal. That's the word I was looking for. Surreal type of comedy. Like I say, it's never really a type of comedy that's clicked with me a great deal. I loved Shooting Stars. I find them more funny now when they've like kind of feels like they've matured a lot. They're.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know. I find them funnier now. than the earlier, more surreal, more off the wall work. I don't know. Comedy is very subjective, isn't it? I guess at the end of the day, I'm not
Completely.
sure we can say the past has made me laugh this time. I mean, I did at the big head, but I think it'd be boring if we got 100% record, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm with you, Stu. That kind of comedy is not for everyone at all. It is not. That is there's some stuff when you can go, how can you not find that funny? But something like that, I think you're completely right, is very subjective. And I agree with you that I find Bob Mortimer funnier now and Vic Reed's funnier now because they're old men. So old men acting that ridiculous, old men doing that stupid shit, I think is brilliant. Because I hope when I'm that old, which is not that old, but like in their 60s, I'm still doing silly shit and still enjoying myself. I think that's why I enjoy it, because they're still being ridiculous and enjoying it.
That's interesting, actually, about the age thing. Perhaps the way I'm looking at it, when they were like younger, in their 20s or whatever it was, perhaps there's it comes across as, I don't know, immaturity. I don't know, but perhaps I'm being a bit harsh there. But as they get older, it kind of becomes funnier.
Yeah,
because it becomes more ridiculous, as you're saying. That them doing that ridiculous style of comedy becomes funnier because of their age, and the fact that they're doing such ridiculous stuff at their age. I don't know, that I think age might play a lot into it, and how that makes me look at their comedy. It's interesting. It's an interesting one.
I 100% agree. I remember, because when I was a kid, I used to love watching Rowan Atkinson, Fry and Laurie, Blackadder, all these things. But when I got older, when I was in my 20s, even 30s, and seeing young stand-ups and stuff, I definitely looked down at them. These young 19, 20, 21-year-olds going, what the hell do these people know? Whereas when I was a kid, these guys older, or girls, French and Saunders, Victoria Wood, were so much smarter than me because they were older, they knew more. And now I'm older, when they're younger, I do sort of go,
yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how your perception of them changes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you for bringing it. We won't say that the past made me laugh or us laugh. It made you laugh.
Yeah, it made me laugh a lot. I forgot how good it was.
I feel like we need to have a consensus for us to, categorically say that the past made us laugh.
Yes,
if one of us
agreed.
laughed and one of us didn't, I think it's fair to say that we can't categorically say the past made us laugh.
Yes.
So, never mind, Reeves and Mortimer. We'll give you another shot if there's another clip that Jimmy finds that he wants to bring to us in a future episode. Then feel free, but I'm not writing you off quite yet on this occasion. Sadly, the past did not make us laugh. I was hoping I had like a boo reaction. Or something.
It seemed like you had something lined up, but Jesus!
That's okay. Like a hushed. Yeah, there we go. That'll do.
Yeah, that's good.
Works.
That's good. Yeah, it works.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's always nice to take a trip down memory lane with this comedy, because some of it ages better than not. We had a conversation during the week about Peep Show, and I have been watching Peep Show.
I was going to bring that sketch.
And Peep Show isn't an old show. Look, we're talking. I say that we're talking. What, 20? Say 8 years. So in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty young show, isn't it? No, 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 8. Say 10 years. 10 years max. Well, probably a bit more.
Yeah, maybe. It's series 2 as well, so it's one of the earlier seasons. But still, it's not that long ago.
It's not. But
are you going to say what happens? Are you going to say what happens?
Yeah, I mean, there's a blackface joke in there, and there's a lot of questionable stuff in there. There's a lot of like Nazi gags. Mark seems quite obsessed with. I love the episode where Mark befriends
a racist.
Yeah, is that the same episode? I can't remember. Could be.
It could be, yeah.
That Jez then blacks up because Nancy they're testing the boundaries of the sexual boundaries, and Nancy gets Jez to black up and so has some choice words to Jez, and
Yeah, she
it's
says,
questionable.
yeah,
It really
he's
is, but
in complete. He's not just in blackface. He's black body and
black body,
everything.
yeah.
And he goes, "I'm not sure about this." And she's like,
Mm,
"We're pushing boundaries." And she
yeah.
says, "Now fuck me and pretend that I'm your mum."
Mm.
And he says, "What, mummy? Really?" She was, "What? You can't imagine your mum having sex with a black man?" He's like, "Well, no, it's not that. It's just I don't want to pretend this."
Yeah, this
Yeah,
feels a bit racist, is what he says.
yeah, it feels a bit racist.
I
And
just
they've
found it
cut that from
interesting that
Netflix.
well, they have, but the division I'm watching, is UK Gold. Um, they're just sort of
Oh, well,
blasé to it. They don't
yeah,
care.
they've got all of Only Fools and Horses on it. They don't give a shit on UK Gold.
Exactly, it's like the gammon channel of choice, isn't it? Really, UK Gold. My dad loves a bit of UK Gold. But I just found it interesting that even a show as kind of youngish as Peep Show, um, even that can still have like moments in it that today just look kind of horrendous. I'm not surprised it's been cut, and I don't think they could show it in the form that it is now. I'd be surprised if that whole scene is just cut out from any like playback of that episode on TV. It's interesting.
I think there was a sort of age where things like blackface and that sort of thing was being done
Mm.
in the 80s, and then I think in the 90s it sort of dropped away as well. It's just not funny. It's just not
Yeah,
what's done. And then I think maybe in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, they brought it. It started to
you brought
creep
it
back
back.
in. Well, it started to creep back in as a sort
I
of
get you.
more of a ridiculous thing that
Yeah,
someone would do. It wasn't that it was funny anymore. It was,
no.
I think it was more poking fun at the
Oh yeah,
idea
very
of
much so.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it became a
Even
little
that,
bit more nuanced, but still.
even that feels taboo now.
Yeah,
Even if you
exactly.
are taking the rise out of blackface and the
Well, look at,
ridiculousness of that.
but not even blackface, like things like Little Britain, where they were playing
Mm,
black characters, and Come Fly With Me, was that what it's called, with Matt Lucas
yes.
and Dave Williams, where they were playing everyone, every different
Mm,
race and sexuality and gender. They were playing everyone.
yeah.
That's all been loads of that's all been taken down now as well.
Mm,
It's like not playing other races.
yeah. It feels like we're in a new era of comedy, a new, more conservative era of comedy. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't-
I've watched a lot of comedians talk about this, where they say it's bullshit when people
It's
say
bullshit.
no. I'm
Carry on.
defending it. They say it's bullshit when they say, "Oh, you can't joke about anything these days."
Mm,
They say you can. You've just got to be clever about it.
yeah.
You've just got to make it make sense and not just do easy fucking gags.
Yeah, doing it for cheap laughs, I think is
Exactly.
probably where people draw the line, isn't it? If you're trying to say something, I think people are more forgiving. Is that fair to say? I don't know.
I think so.
I mean,
If
I
there's a
would be.
point behind it, and
Yeah,
that is always the thing, with anything racial in comedies, the hope is that there's discovery through it, because I do
mm,
think it's important to question things,
yeah, agreed.
because there was a long time where it was, the thing to say, I'm colorblind.
Mm,
There's no such thing as color. Whereas now you're not supposed to say I'm colorblind, and you're supposed to recognize that people are different colors. So you are still finding your way all the time, and recognizing the differences and appreciating the differences. It's very, very complicated.
it is.
So you can only find your way as you go, and try not to upset anyone, and as you say, try not to do anything that's a gag at the expense of someone. I think that's the thing,
Yeah,
isn't it? It's if
yeah,
you're mocking the idea of it, I think it works. at this day and age. If you're mocking the idea that someone would be a racist or someone would be homophobic or someone would be anything, that they're the stupid one, which I think they kind of did before. I don't know. It's very, very complicated. It's very complicated.
It is.
With comedy, you got to be nice to each other, but you need to find those ways, right?
You do. You got to challenge things. You got to challenge thought. Otherwise, we don't grow, do we? As a I don't know. You're very deep here, Jimmy.
Yeah. Sorry, forgive me.
That's okay. A classic Jimmy ramble there. There we go. No, that's okay. It's fine. Let's move on to some bird news. Bird news. Bird news.
Why is that so scary as well? This is the light-hearted part of the show.
You may have seen this going around the various social media websites and newspapers and news reports recently. The World Championship snooker is taking place at the Crucible, as it always does. And a pigeon invaded a match between, forgive me, let's find out who this was. I can't look. Mark Selby and Yang Bingtao. Mark Selby and Yang Bingtao, second round clash. A bird perched on the cushion of the snooker table, having fluttered down from the television lights above. God, that's how he got in there. But it's not going to let. I've got to. Oh, you're joking me. I can't watch the video because my ad blocker is on. Bastards!
I imagine you can get this on YouTube, can't you?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go rogue.
Why is it called the Crucible Stew? What do you know?
I don't know. I just think of the
Harold
famous
play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. About the witch hanging, witch hunts in Salem.
Right, so we want pigeon. That's not how you spell pigeon. Fucking hell, I am hammered. At Crucible.
How much of that gin have you drunk?
Ooh,
all of it. Here we go. Look, 21 seconds. 21 seconds to go. We have 21 seconds to go.
Oh, gosh.
He's furious.
And then the classic British. Whoa!
Have you ever seen that like this? Coming into the commentary box.
Do you know what? I love that, Stu, because it's the biggest round of applause that they've ever had in the Crucible. It's
the most entertaining moment.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've got a pigeon.
Would you believe? I haven't done a shit on this ever. Rats.
Have you ever seen that like this?
Jesus Christ.
The spirit's disease.
Where's the pigeon going?
Where's the pigeon going? Who knows? Probably
do you know what that reminds me
of?
Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember in Big Train where they had the staring competitions?
Yes.
And there was just, he's doing that. Whoa, and there's a streak. Like the pure excitement when something or a fly came in, the excitement of just something. And I quite like snooker, actually. There's nothing wrong with it. But that seemed like, oh, God. There's a pigeon! There's a pigeon! It's like kids at school when a dog comes in the playground. There's a fucking hell, something's happened. We're going to go viral.
I know, right? Yeah. I thought it was a nice moment.
Lovely.
Pigeon entering play at the Crucible Snooker World Championships. Some bad news for you. There you go. I hope that was satisfying enough. And of course, let's round the show up with some and finally news for you.
And finally.
I like that.
So yeah, that's good. Yeah, not quite so scary, that one. All right, let's get that up. So, a couple of and finally stories. I'm bringing two for you each week now. I'm kind of doubling your and finally love, Jimmy.
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it, Stu, because I feel like we should bring the news to the nation. Because we start off with the questions, we got some geek stuff, and then let's finish with some real news, some hard-hitting news that CNN or Fox or whatever will bring. But we can give it our take.
Or HuffPost in this case. Family finds out odd snoring noises are 5 bears hibernating under the house. Now, I do have a reason for bringing this to you because I have.
Is it your house?
Well, in honor of Seddon, my wife and Seddon and his lovely partner went on holiday to a lakeside cottage once. We may have told this story on the podcast before, but so picture this: it's a beautiful, picturesque setting, and I'm kind of straying. I really appreciate I'm straying off course here, but
well, I'm trying to picture it. So let me picture
is more about me than
picture it.
Okay. So it's lovely, picturesque kind of. I think that the premises is called Riverside Cottage or something. It's an Airbnb type scenario.
Okay.
And the sleeping arrangements are such that there's a double bed, and there's kind of like a mezzanine floor, almost like a ladder going up to another double bed. It's almost like a bedroom above the living room. Okay, so me and my wife were in the mezzanine. Seddon was in the glorious King's suite.
You say glory hole. Glory hole.
I mean, on one evening, he's enjoying a nice kind of week away in this tranquil setting, and Seddon always used to stay up quite late, whereas me and Amanda used to go to bed quite early. Me and Amanda and Seddon's Mrs. obviously not in the same bed, but separately we went to bed quite early and Seddon would stay up. And there was a moment where myself and Amanda were in bed, and I snore. I snore quite a lot. I snore quite badly, and we was both in bed, deadly silent, Seddon in the living room below, and I just go, kind of one of those snores that wakes you up.
Yeah.
And Amanda, in her dream-like state, went, "Oh, what was that? It's a bear. Is that a bear?" She thought her snoring husband was a bear, a real life grizzly.
Did Seddon run in with a shotgun?
No, but Seddon was privy to this whole conversation because there was no. All there was like a curtain.
Yes, because you're on the mezzanine. Yes.
Yeah, there's only a curtain separating our bedroom, ostensibly, and the living room downstairs. And Seddon heard the whole thing and remembered it to this day, and it is of quite some hilarity between us as we always recall it.
I love the idea of it could have been a bear. And Seddon just sat there watching TV.
Yeah.
And then here's your wife. Here's Amanda going, "Oh, is that a bear?" And him going, just typical Seddon reaction to if there was a bear.
Indeed.
Whatever. Let me just finish my bag.
Which brings me to this story, which is very similar in scenario. A Californian family were perplexed by rumbling, snoring-like noises, and they heard all winter. And realised there was a fucking family of bears living under their house. A reverse Goldilocks scenario, as the Huffington Post suggests. A California family discovered that 5 bears had found their home just right. The South Lake Tahoe residents have been hearing some odd rumbling, snoring-like noises. I refer you back to my own snoring-like noises. Throughout the winter, but had been ignoring the mysterious sounds because they simply didn't make sense. The Bear League, that's a name and a half, isn't it? A non-profit dedicated to helping people coexist with bears. She reported this on Facebook earlier this week. And their neighbours suggest they even might be imagining things. But as it transpires, the sounds were very real, and there was a logical explanation. Bears had been hibernating in the crawl space underneath the house. I don't know if this is an actual picture of the actual bear, but that's a bear. Okay, the mother bear photographed after her hibernation under a South Lake Tahoe home. So that's coming out to say hello.
Wow. Amazing.
When they woke, The human residents of the home could no longer deny there was probably a bear under the house. Yes, when you see a bear, you can't deny that there's no bears.
No, there's no bear. We're British.
Quite. But yeah, even though they didn't suspect there were so many, that would be quite a surprise, wouldn't it, to see 5 bears just coming out from just walking out into the woods.
And they're tough. They're
Wow.
tough.
Oh yeah, mate, bears. I do magnificent creatures, but yeah, wouldn't across one. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
So if you do hear some snoring, it's potentially isn't your husband in a mezzanine of a holiday home. It could actually be bears.
And talking of crawl spaces underneath your house, I watched the John Wayne Gacy Netflix documentary this week. It's absolutely disturbing. Do you know what, Stu? I wouldn't recommend it because it's a horrible story and he deserves to rot in hell, and the story as well. And yes, it's good for the victims to be known, but I don't think we should be even talking about the cunt.
This made me chuckle purely from the picture. Don't judge. Don't the old adage, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, I saw this and thought, well, I've got to bring this in. So, owner of the world's heaviest potato is left deflated after learning that it isn't a potato.
What is it?
It's a oh God, what is it?
Tell me, Stu, because he looks really deflated. Has he put the sunglasses on it, or is it?
Well, that's what drew me to the story in the first.
Right, he has. Spar thought Colin Craig Brown, everyone who just discovered that the prize potato isn't a potato at all. The Kiwi New Zealander thought he had, I guess, £7, which should make because he was discovered as Guinness World Records, but it wasn't a spud after all.
A gourd, an ancient cucumber. There you go. It's basically a very, I would argue, deformed cucumber.
Oh, I know, but he took it in as his own. He put sunglasses on it. He was happy with it.
He looks like he's adopted it, to be fair.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a potato. He's gained a
son.
A son. Yeah, good on him. He looks a bit like a cross between me and my dad.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, what would you put sunglasses? I don't know what he's done. It looks like he's got a face. Cute little nose. I don't know what all this stuff is, like mold or I don't know, but
cocaine. My dad would do that. My dad would put sunglasses on a big potato he found.
Okay.
I think as you get older, you do weirder things. you just sort of you go, yeah, I'll buy that weird thing that might annoy my wife a bit.
Or you pleasure where you can, I suppose. At that point in your life, just
why the hell not? Before my dad's birthday, this year just gone, which is at the end of December 21st. He said, James, if you Jimmy the Saint, he said, if you haven't got me a birthday present yet, there's a chicken puppet in the local sort of tut shop on Mersey that I pointed out, and Mum said that she hated that I'd really like. So if you want to get me something, it's the one in the window. I can't buy it, but if you get it for me, So I was like, right, sold. So I went and bought him this wooden chicken. It's about this big. It's like a puppet, a wooden chicken puppet. I had it in my car for about 3 weeks, sat in the chair next to me.
That's brilliant.
I could see the appeal. And when he opened it on his birthday, I think I gave it actually to him on Christmas Day. So he sat next to my mum as he opened. And she went, what the fuck? So I look at this. She couldn't believe it. Big wood. But I think as you become an older man, you just do things to annoy people or just for fun.
The most pleasure you get is annoying other people. Yeah, I can see that. I think that's how my dad is.
Yeah.
Apparently you peed on This Morning for some reason. That's the caliber. We feature the same content as This Morning. That's why.
Yep. Well, we're very much like Holly Willoughby and Pip Schofield,
Alison
aren't we?
Hammond.
Alison Hammond. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Unlucky, mate, but keep trying. Go away that Bible.
You'll find a potato.
You will.
And there's another and finally story, Stu, is there?
No, that was it. That is my and funny story here.
What? I thought you had two. You usually have two.
I did. We had the what's the other one? The other one was the
bears.
Yeah, the bear store. Bears.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought news, do you mean?
I thought that was bear news. Yeah, I got confused.
Very good.
Oh,
Very
wonderful.
good.
That
Be
was
careful with that. That could spawn another segment. That's how it happens. Someone likes a pun, and lo and behold, there goes another
We've got another section.
Yeah.
We've got another segment that we don't want.
Yeah, that we're beholden to. But there we go. That was episode for 29th of April. Another episode of the Renaissance Men in the books. I'm kind of hammered, but no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm okay. Just merry, Let's thank people in the chat. So
Stu, keep telling us about how slightly inebriated you are. I'm enjoying listening to you just waffle on about how much you're drunk.
No, we had enough waffle last week. I'm going to thank people in the chat. Roche Fox, thank you very much. Again, apologies if I butchered your username. Alexandra Turner, thank you. Holly, as always, thank you, my friend. Pete Turner, thank you. And of course, John. Mr. Simmons, thank you for joining us. There we go. I think that's everyone. If I've missed you out, I do apologise. If you're watching this on catch up, do put some comments below. How have you enjoyed the show? If there's anything you like, particularly, let us know what you like and what you don't like. It's it'll help us going forward to fine tune the show. I think it's fair to say. If this is your first time watching us, then give us a like and subscribe as always. We have been the Renaissance Men. You can follow us on Twitter at Renaissance Men. No, that's not right. Twitch.com/Renaissance Cast. It's Facebook.com/groups/Renaissance Cast.
Slash.
I know, I'm sorry.
Forward gin dot tonic /com.
Oh dear. Yeah, there we go. Jimmy, thank you for joining me this week. It's been an absolute pleasure as always.
As always.
It feels like this has been I keep telling you to feel when it's a good show. It feels like a good show. Well, I've enjoyed it anyway. I don't know if you have.
I've enjoyed it. Yeah, absolutely.
Whether the audience has, who knows?
Who cares? One thing I would say, Stu, I forgot to point out your Lego top you're wearing. Yeah. Is it the evolution of Lego?
It is.
Yeah, the evolution of evolution of Lego. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'm loving how much you're zeroing in on Lego as a thing because it's ever growing. I'm being serious. Like it's getting bigger and bigger, and the fact that you're doing it and loving it, and I love Lego. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm well behind it.
Yeah, it's another little niche, isn't it? I think that we're doing, and I just enjoy doing it. If nothing else, I think when you're doing. I mean, we do this as a hobby, don't we? And if you're not enjoying doing it, then why the hell are you doing it?
Exactly.
We're not getting paid.
What?
So
I've been doing this for over a year now. I'm waiting for my first paycheck.
Yeah, sorry about that, but you got to enjoy it. And,
absolutely,
that's why we do the Friday show, because we enjoy doing it, and that's why I enjoy doing the Lego stuff and the stuff with Benj that I do. Oh,
the stuff with Benj. That kid that hangs around the house.
Oh, sorry about that.
One's enough.
Do you know that was a real Mrs. Robinson moment?
Oh yeah, Miss Robinson, English in 1992. God bless her.
God rest her soul.
Yeah, she'll be dead now.
Yeah, diabetes, I would imagine. Ravaged. Yeah, okay. Anything else to say to me, or shall we call it there? We'll call it there.
I guess we call it there. And we got a show on Friday?
That's a good point. Yes, we do. Actually, yes, we do, because I'm coming up to Mersey on the Saturday. So we'll do a show Friday, and then I'll see you on the Saturday, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, we'll see you next week. Quite the streak that we're on, isn't it?
We're going.
We're going. We are going. Thank you for joining us. Until next week, please take care and goodbye.